Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this contest, PJ Black!
Okay, Liverpool, we will be going live in approximately 13 minutes, but we do have your rather excellent commentary team here. The team of Greg Lambert and your hero, Joe Hendry. We have a lot of local hero fans in. You're a national hero, Joe, not a local hero. You're a national hero. Okay, the following is a singles match set for one fall. Introducing first. Ladies and gentlemen, making his way to the ring, this is Jason Prime! His opponent, making his way to the ring, this is Jack Jester!
Fancy.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, Jack Jester! Okay, Liverpool, we're going to be going live in about 5 minutes' time, okay? So I'm going to come back out in about 2 minutes. I want to have a little warm-up. There's still people coming in. Are you ready to be going live, Liverpool? I want to hear some energy, Liverpool. I said, are you ready to be going live, Liverpool? Well, when you hear that music hit for the first time, we are going live on Free Sports, and you're going to be seen all over the place. So I need you to be loud. I need you to be louder. Guys, are you seriously telling me that this is the loudest you're going to be when, say, someone like Rey Mysterio comes down to the ring? Yeah? Are you going to be louder for Rey? Are you going to be loud for Rob Van Dam? I think maybe we've got John Morrison fans in the audience. I think we've just got 5-star wrestling fans in the audience. Okay, guys, I'm going to come back out in 2 minutes, and we're going to get ready to start your show.
We are live at Liverpool Echo Arena, where history will be made tonight on the banks of the River Mersey. Because for the first time, we have a live weekly British wrestling television series, 5-Star Wrestling Live on Free Sports. Listen to that crowd. I am Greg Lambert. This is Joe Hendry, History Joe.
Greg, I am so excited. You know why? Because we've got the biggest household names in professional wrestling today and the very best in homegrown British wrestling talent. Continue, Greg.
That is what 5-Star Wrestling is all about. We have fought so hard for so long. The hard-working men and women of British wrestling, and you're going to see some of them tonight in the spotlight where they belong. Liverpool's #1, Zach Gibson, taking on the man. He was in the Rumble. He got on a plane. He's now in Liverpool. Rey Mysterio.
Has that ever happened before, Greg, where someone has been in the Royal Rumble, had an amazing performance, and now, well, they're here in 5-Star Wrestling? You just jumped on a plane, Greg.
Never happened before, no. So Mysterio versus Gibson, also coming up later tonight. Two of the best big men, two of the best hard men in the world of wrestling today. Moose going one-on-one with Yorkshire's own Rampage Brown.
That's going to break the ring.
It's going to break the ring, it's going to break the internet, it's going to break the Free Sports viewing audience, most likely. And what about a big grudge match? It got set up at the press conference 3 weeks ago when these two men butted heads. They're going to settle it tonight. The all-American Jake Hager against the English Lion, Eddie Ryan.
Now, this all kicked off because of that grudge match. What happened at the press conference seen by over 2 million people, Greg. 2 million people saw the altercation, and tonight Eddie Ryan has got a chance to put his money where his mouth is.
It was all over social media. I tell you what else has been all over social media. On 5starwrestling.co.uk, on Twitter at 5-Star Wrestling. Make sure you follow the 5-Star Tag Team Championship Tournament. It kicks off tonight with 2 semi-final matches.
We're going to get both tonight, Greg.
You're going to get
I don't know if I can handle that excitement.
2
for God's sakes.
Absolutely. And speaking of championships, how about our co-main event? The 5-Star champion, John Morrison, versus Mr. Hang on a minute, Joe.
Oh.
Mr. Thursday Night, Rob Van Dam. Titles on the line.
I like that. This match is big enough to headline any card in any promotion anywhere in the world. Dream matches don't get any bigger than this, Greg, and we've got the privilege of watching it here tonight. It's going to be right there, Greg.
It's going to happen. So settle back if you're a fan of British wrestling, if you're a fan of international wrestling, if you're not a fan of wrestling, you soon will be. 5-Star Wrestling Live on Free Sports. We're kicking off with the historic Tap or Snap Championship. Let's go to a man with a mic, Steve Linsky.
The following is for the Tap or Snap Championship. Introducing first, ladies and gentlemen, making his way to the ring, this is the show stealer, Nathan Cruz.
So the Tap or Snap Championship, the inauguration of 5-Star Wrestling Submission Division in a 5-star elimination submission match where 4 men will tap, 1 man will take home the gold and become the first ever 5-Star Wrestling Tag Tap or Snap Champion.
And I think it could be this gentleman here because he is called the Professional for a reason. He is a veteran of this business. He is one of the biggest stars that we've got here in Britain, and tonight he's going to be looking to make a statement by winning the Tap or Snap Championship. But we've got 4 others that are going to want that, Greg.
We certainly have. The professional Nathan Cruz is in the ring. And you're absolutely right, he's got to face a Scotsman, a Welshman, an Australian, and a guy from Oxford. It's no joke, folks.
That sounds like the start of a joke, Greg.
It's no joke. It is the Tap or Snap Championship, live on Free Sports. And here comes the Welshman. And here he is in Mod We Trust. The Mod Father!
Making his way to the ring!
Now, I will tell you one thing, Greg. This gentleman knows how to dress.
He is an exceptional talent, there is no doubt about it. What he makes up for in stature, he has in heart, and in technical wrestling ability, and in retro style.
Look at that suit, that is beautiful. You know what, he might even be dressed better than me. I can't have that on the show, Greg.
Flash Morgan Webster from a town called Malice in Wales. Hoping to put his opponents tonight, if you excuse a pun, Joe, in a jam.
Pun excused.
And their opponent.
But how about this guy? When you talk about submission specialists.
And making his way to the ring, this is Mark Haskins!
The Oxfordshire Outlaw. This man is a lethal weapon inside the squared circle.
Again, Mark Haskins has wrestled all over the world at the highest level for many years now, and this is why this match is so great. We're seeing the very best in that homegrown talent that we were talking about, but Mark Haskins kind of embodies the British wrestling scene, and as you say, somewhat of a specialist in submissions.
And making his way to the ring, Joey Axel!
Now this is one person that our viewers might not be familiar with, but this is Joey Axel.
From Melbourne, Australia. And this is possibly, I would say, the wild card in this match. You're right, not a lot known about this young man who has come over to the UK to base himself in London, to further himself, and finds himself as the biggest man in this match, and what an opportunity to become the Tap or Snap champion.
Absolutely, and as I say, we haven't seen much of this individual, but he looks in incredible physical condition, which he's going to have to be when he goes up against a bunch of veterans, including the Scotsman, someone who I'm probably going to have to root for because, you know, I'm a Scotsman as well. But making his way to the ring is another veteran of this business, BT Gunn. Now, how explosive can BT Gunn be? That's the thing about him. He can pull out victories from anywhere, at the snap of a finger, if you will.
Absolutely, the oddity from Coatbridge in Scotland completes the lineup.
Making his way to the ring from Scotland, BT Gunn!
So BT Gunn, Flash Morgan Webster, Mark Haskins, Joey Axel, and Nathan Cruz. And the rules are, I'll just explain the rules, Joe,
you just
for people who don't know. I apologise, we don't want any of that. And I don't want to get on the wrong side of you being a British amateur wrestling champion and all. But, you know, we've got to explain the rules, and the rules are as follows. The only way to get an elimination in this match is to make one of your opponents give up, submit, quit, tap out. When all of the opponents have tapped out in the match, the last man standing will take home the 5-Star Wrestling Tap or Snap Championship.
And the crowd here is right behind BT Gunn. Greg, who is your money on?
Well, it's hard to say, really. I mean, Joey Axel is the unknown quantity, without a doubt. He's the guy, he's the tall guy, 6'2". The Australian powerhouse with the blonde Mohican.
I like the alliteration. I like the alliteration.
That's his name, absolutely. But, you know, Haskins is the submission specialist. Nathan Cruz has got that cruise control and the figure four leg lock that he employs. And BT Gunn's got that conference crossface. And you can never rule out Flash Morgan Webster, a guy who came back from fractured ankle and a torn shoulder muscle in 2016 to come back as good as ever. He's got heart.
And look at that beautiful transition from Mark Haskins there. And here we have a standoff. As you can see, these guys seem to be evenly matched. This is going to be exciting, Greg. And the professional Nathan Cruz looking to take a leave of absence from the ring, which I think is a rather smart strategy. That's why he's called the professional. This is his job. He doesn't need to do all the flashy stuff. He's going to take a little break on the outside. The crowd don't like it, but who cares about the crowd, Greg? BT Gunn's having none of it, though.
That's what a professional does. I guess he says that he's more professional than everybody else in the ring.
Well, that professional just got slapped in the face,
He
Greg.
certainly did by the Scotsman. BT Gunn unloading with a huge right hand. This man has been in peerless form of late. And you talk about a favourite, it might just be him. But wait a second. Flash Morgan Webster with the arm drag taking down the Australian.
That was a beautiful
Nathan
arm drag
Cruz,
there.
Sorry, Joe. Popping BT Gunn with a right hand outside the ring. I don't know where Haskins is. Can't quite pick him up at the moment from our vantage point. This is what happens in a 5-star submission elimination match. To kick things off, we're starting with tradition and we're starting with the athleticism that British wrestling in the modern day is known for. And how about that? I don't even know how to describe that, Joe.
And in slides the professional Nathan Cruz to pick up the scraps, if you will. And as you can see, we've got this beautiful championship title here sitting right next to us, which is going to go to the winner of this match. Can you believe that, Greg? First match, and we're going to crown a new Tapper Snap champion.
Indeed, there's a high knee from Nathan Cruz. Perhaps needs to go for the elimination here on the Welshman. Flash Morgan Webster takes him down using the slingshot back suplex to great effect. And the man from Hull is in cruise control, just like that inverted cloverleaf that he uses as a submission hold. BT Gunn, though, sliding back in the ring. The crowd is behind him as he hits the slingshot. Cross-body off the middle rope.
Now, that's the thing. Usually in that situation, BT Gunn's going to be going for the pinfall. But in this match, Greg, you can only get the victory by, well, it's quite simple, tap or snap. So someone's either got to give up or, well, I suppose, have a limb broken. I don't think anybody wants that, Greg.
Well, absolutely not, but that's what happens when you employ arm bars and leg locks and stretches. Oh, wait a second.
Okay, that's a bit more than I think we need to see. This is a family show, people. You're meant to be the professional, Nathan. Pull up those breeks, if you will, which is the Scottish word for trousers or pants or underwear, whatever you want to call it. My goodness. Yeah, you just got us kicked off the air, Nathan. Thanks.
That's right, we only lasted 10 minutes. But anyway, we know we're still on the air, and Mark Haskins and BT Gunn are exchanging at lightning-fast pace in the centre of the ring. BT Gunn has already, I think, proven himself to be the crowd favourite in this match due to the response that he got just a few moments ago, but he takes a huge super kick from the Oxfordshire Outlaw.
Now, you see them striking back and forth, and this is the thing you've got to think about in a matchup like this. Usually, you know, you can get a sneaky pinfall. It's kind of, you know, live to fight another day. But with tap or snap, if you want to try and stay in the competition when someone's applying a submission, you might have to put your long-term health at risk. You know, what comes first, your pride or your health?
Wait a second. Oh, Nathan Cruz's health is very much at risk right now. A huge kick to the face from Haskins. BT Gunn landing the clothesline. There's no tagging in and out in a 5-star submission elimination match. You can have 3 men in the ring, 4 men in the ring, 5 men in the ring at once. You just got to get that tap out, and here goes for the figure 4 from Cruz. Gunn kicks him to the outside.
Now, BT Gunn is holding the higher ground. What is he going to do with it? Is he going to stay in the ring? Or it looks like, oh dear.
Well, wait a second. There's 3 men at ringside.
Oh,
and
my
BT
goodness.
Gunn taking flight.
But look, Flash Morgan Webster is left standing. That's the thing with those high-risk maneuvers. They're called high-risk. They're high-risk, high-reward for a reason.
Absolutely. Flash Morgan Webster going to the 3rd rope and coming off with a huge somersault dive. I think maybe Joey Axel assisted that. And Axel taking great delight in his smarts. The Liverpool crowd, though. Oh, wait a second. That could break a nose in a hurry.
Professional Nathan Cruz is in the ring right now. Is he playing possum or is he genuinely hurt? Who knows? We're about to find out as BT Gunn is no doubt going to charge towards him.
Oh! Cruz intercepting. And wait a second, Cruz one more time now. He's looking for that figure four leg lock. And looking to try and make BT Gunn tap out and be the first man eliminated in this tap or snap championship match.
This could be it right here. We could have a brand new tap or snap champion in Nathan Cruz. Will BT Gunn be able to prevail in this situation, Greg? I'm not sure. It's like that battle we were talking about. Is it his pride? Does he want the title that bad, or is he going to live to fight another day? We'll see. The crowd seem to want BT Gunn to continue, but we can't fight for them, Greg.
This could hyperextend a knee. Could even break a leg.
And he's reversed it now. And the pressure's now on. Well, it's certainly on. I mean, what would happen in a situation like this? We can't split the belt in two.
How is Nathan Cruz hanging on? And wait a second, Flash Morgan Webster applies the Dragon Sleeper on Joey Axel. Somebody's got a tap here, surely. He's got that.
And we see
Mark Haskins.
Flash Morgan Webster. Oh my goodness. That was impressive offense there from Joey Axel, who Flash Morgan Webster, I believe, had the guillotine choke on him, and he reversed it into a suplex onto his opponents. That was very smart from Joey Axel there. I'm impressed with this newcomer.
Flash Morgan Webster hits the boot to the face on the Australian pop punk powerhouse, who counters with the power bomb. And look at that, he's got the knee over the back of his head, and Morgan Webster taps out. He's the first man eliminated.
And what a way to make a statement for this newcomer. He's got to be the favourite now, surely.
Absolutely, Joe. A spirited effort from the Mod Father, but unfortunately, he didn't have enough malice on this particular night. And Nathan Cruz and Joey Axel, a man who scored the first submission in the submission division. There are 4 men left now with an opportunity at the Tap or Snap Championship.
Now, Greg, I'm just going to jump in there. I'm just going to translate in layman's terms what's going on here, because basically people are probably wondering, why is the match still going on when the pinfalls happen? Well, the reason is it's elimination. Indeed. So basically every person needs to be beat until there's one person left standing.
Wait a second, the unknown quantity, Joey Axel, has got that submission hold, and he's made Cruz tap. Wow! This
what
guy
a statement!
He's running through everybody. This man is proving why the Australian wrestling scene is pretty much enjoying a renaissance like the British wrestling scene. And very similarly, Australian wrestling was kicked off television.
Hey, I'll tell you what, the Scottish wrestling scene is pretty great right now as well. BT Gunn has shown why. He's putting an end to Joey Axel's offense, but Joey Axel's found a way to get back on top. And then there's the Enziguri.
Great Australian wrestlers today like Tony Storm, Billy Kay, Peyton Royce, Damian Slater, TM61, Adam Brooks.
And he's going for the crossface!
He's got the Codebridge crossface. Locked in, BT Gunn. Here comes Haskins. One of these 3 men.
That's an interesting strategy, because Haskins could have just let that go to take out another opponent, but instead he wanted some of the action, and now he's paying the price. BT Gunn has 2 men locked in his patented crossface.
Well, surely somebody's got to give up here. Surely Axel or Haskins, or maybe both. What if they both tapped and Gunn becomes the champion with a double submission? No.
It was a bold move, but both managed to break free.
What a match. This is our first match. This is a statement. This is what 5-star wrestling is going to be all about, live on Free Sports every single Thursday night from a different city around the UK.
Oh, and a huge cutter there from BT Gunn. Mark Haskins has got to be over there. But again, Joey Axel's he's applying that leg submission again. What an opportunist.
He's already made Nathan Cruz and Flash Morgan Webster tap with this move. And he's made BT Gunn tap. This is incredible. This is unbelievable.
What a performance for Joey Axel so far. And we saw Mark Haskins took a bit of extra damage there at the hands of BT Gunn. Now it's just the 2 of them.
This guy from Melbourne, I bet you knew very little about him coming into this match. Even the most dedicated fans of the wrestling scene may not have known about Joey Axel. He surely can't make it 4. He surely can't make everybody tap to this hold. He's got Haskins up in the air.
Let's see what Mark Haskins is going to do. He is a master technician. As you see, he's flipped over the top of him, and he's going for his own arm breaker.
It's the snap trap from Haskins. The patented snap trap.
Look at the torque on that.
Axel's trying to get to the ropes. I think he just about got to the ropes. Haskins pulls it back into center ring.
Oh my goodness.
He applies the pressure again. Joey Axel out of it.
Oh, deadlifted up by Joey Axel. Look at the strength, but there's that beautiful leg transition again. Oh, we've seen this before.
Into the sharpshooter. Mark Haskins.
Both hands, he's bridged back.
He's tapped. He's tapped.
We've got a brand new tap or snap champion. Congrats to the veteran Mark Haskins, who is now the inaugural 5-star wrestling tap or snap champion. Look at that beautiful piece of hardware now being passed to Mark Haskins.
Submission wrestling. British wrestling has got an amazing tradition, and the Northwest has an amazing tradition in submission style wrestling. And tonight, Joey Axel made a name for himself, but Mark Haskins walked out the first ever 5-star wrestling tap or snap champion. And he's now the man who surely will claim that he can make anybody in British wrestling, in international wrestling, tap out. Wow.
I don't think anyone can doubt the abilities of Joey Axel after seeing that, but it's perhaps when those veteran instincts come into play there with our new champion, Mark Haskins.
Mark Haskins, the champion. We'll be back on 5-Star Wrestling Live.
Let's be aware, we will be going to ad breaks, but when you hear the music cue, please be as loud as you can when we are back live. And Mark Haskins, the new tap and snap champion. That's the new title, exclusive to 5-Star Wrestling. And also remember, there's going to be reruns and viewings all the way through the week, so you're here tonight, when you get home, you can watch it again, you can watch it on television.
Woo! Get in me!
Because I think Liverpool is the loudest fans in the country.
Yeah!
Well, we are back. 5-Star Wrestling Live on Free Sports could not have started in a more exciting, fast-paced and groundbreaking way, with Mark Haskins being crowned the first ever 5-Star Wrestling Tap or Snap champion. But we are going to have a complete change of pace right now, because it's time for the Bruisers.
Oh. Well, Greg, here is the match that I think might have the potential to just break the gosh darn it ring. Because these two guys are absolutely huge. I've faced both of them before, and tell you this, I don't want to do it again. Rampage Brown, another veteran of the British wrestling scene. Truly one of, in my opinion, one of the best wrestlers in the world. One of the most underrated wrestlers in the world.
And I tell you what, Joe, funny you should say that, but you do a straw poll of the British wrestlers backstage. They will tell you they believe Rampage Brown is the best in the UK right now.
He is the wrestler's wrestler.
But can he get it done against an opponent of the calibre of this man?
And his opponent,
and here we go. This is one of the most audience interactive entrances in the whole of professional wrestling today. The former NFL offensive lineman turned one of the top heavyweights in the world. It's Moose. Moose. Moose.
Greg, sing it properly. Moose.
Rampage Brown,
Moose.
the Swedish
I
t-shirt.
believe they're singing to me, Greg. You're absolutely right, though.
Moose.
You're absolutely right, Greg. Moose is one of the premier athletes in professional wrestling today. I mean, look at the physical condition that he's in. As I say, I don't think the ring's going to survive this one. The thing about Moose is not only is he unbelievably strong, but he's explosive and fast as well. He's a big guy that can move like a small guy. A whole lot of athlete in this matchup that we're about to see, Greg.
Well, was that Rampage Brown just mocking Moose there as he made his trademark Moose gesture, which the crowd are all doing as well here at the Echo Arena in Liverpool.
Can I just point out, look at this size of Rampage Brown's legs. Think of the squats and deadlifts that he must be doing. He is ready for anything right now.
Oh, wait a second!
Oh my goodness!
I think referee Andrea Malalana was trying to separate him. He didn't see Rampage Brown basically not Moose before the bell rang. That's a legal move, but
Was that before the bell?
I think it was, yeah,
Oh my
absolutely.
goodness, I can't condone that.
I heard the bell ring afterwards.
Greg, I can't condone that. That's just straight up cheating right there, but I'm not going to be the one to tell him.
And Moose looks rocked. Moose looks dazed. And the 6'5" man from the Moose Nation.
Oh my goodness, that's exactly the athleticism that I'm talking about. A nip up from Moose there, passing him by. Huge drop kick right to the chin of Rampage Brown. He's on the outside, and the crowd are right behind Moose tonight.
A 6'5", 21 stone man just did a standing drop kick live on Free Sports. Huge chop follow up, and the action is outside the ring. They've got a 10 count to get back in, and the referee all the way from Italy, Andrea Malalana, trying to tell them so.
And can you imagine if he tries to separate the action between these two? He'll get squashed right between them. Look at the size of these guys. Oh, and there's a thunderous chop to the chest of Rampage Brown. Not only does that hurt, Greg, but it takes away the wind in your lungs as well. It severely affects your conditioning.
Absolutely, but you hit the nail on the head, Joe, when you said that these two guys can move as well. You know, these aren't just straight ahead, methodical brawlers, although at the moment this has turned into a street fight, and the American has the advantage.
But let's not forget, Moose is relatively new in the business compared to Rampage Brown, who is a huge veteran. Although I'll tell you what, that veteran just took a massive boot to the face.
Well, this is our first clash of the evening between a British wrestler and an American wrestler. And let me tell you something, we talked about the struggle for British wrestling for years to come out of the shadow of American wrestling. We are taking a huge step towards that right now. But wait a second, Rampage Brown just about managed to power Moose up and drop his back on the ring apron. He struggled, but he did it, and that's an incredible show of strength.
And Greg, let me tell you, that is the single hardest part of the ring. But did you see the ease that he lifted him up with? Oh my God!
He's trying to power him again. And he did.
Oh my goodness, the strength there to deadlift him up, that was unbelievable. And again, it's the hardest part of the ring, and he just ate it twice there. That's one way that you take out a big athlete like Moose.
I mean, that is the absolute rugged power of the ruffian from Leeds on display right there. Because I tell you what, it takes a heck of a lot to get a guy like Moose up like that and drop him. And Rampage did it twice.
That took my breath away, Greg. That was, have you ever seen anything like that? That's what I'm talking about. Look at the squats and the deadlifts that he must have been doing. How much does Moose weigh?
Just over 300 just over 21 stone, absolutely. He's bang on the 300-pound mark. And Rampage Brown is really taking it to Moose. He's taking it back to the streets of Leeds. This is a guy, I tell you what, he started out training in the year 2000. He's been around a long time, 18 years in the professional ring. And now live on British television. It's taken him such a long time, I think it's been a frustrating week for Rampage Brown, judging by the way he is assaulting a man who's been on TV before in America.
Well, I'll tell you what, Greg, he's taking that frustration out on Moose right now, and perhaps for good reason. I mean, I don't want to get involved in the dispute, but is it fair to say there's a little bit of dissent between the British and the American wrestlers? Is that fair to say? Because many of the British talents feel... Greg, I'm talking, okay? Is it fair to say, now answer when I'm finished, Greg, if you please, there's a bit of dissent between perhaps the American wrestlers and the British, because the Brits don't feel like they've got the attention that they deserve, and this is one way that they can prove that they do deserve it. Now you may continue.
Thank you. Oh, prestigious.
You're welcome.
Give me strength. Anyway, some
give
British...
you strength, I'll give you a wee slap to the bus, that's all I'll give you.
Wait a second, what I'm going to say is it may be the case for some of the American wrestlers.
Goodness,
and
a running
some of the British wrestlers, but not all of them feel that way. And I think a lot of this has been fueled by the inflammatory comments made by Jake Hager at the press conference, and we're going to see him later on. And that will be a grudge match between America and Britain. Jake Hager versus the English Lion, Eddie Ryan. But I mean, you know, guys like John Morrison, Rey Mysterio, Rob Van Dam, very respectful. Moose, very respectful about the British wrestling scene. And a lot of the British wrestlers very respectful about the international stars as well. But there is this needle, there's no doubt about it, in some quarters backstage.
Now, without a doubt, we're going to see all those names later on. But let's just talk about what we just saw there. Did you see Rampage Brown catch Moose in midair and turn it into a power slam? Who else in wrestling could do that?
Well, I've been mightily impressed with Rampage Brown so far.
Oh, my. I don't think Moose's face is impressed with that elbow right now.
It was indeed a huge series. Oh, Moose
Oh,
with a
my
headbutt,
God.
and that is poetic justice. Moose has been waiting to stick that one on Rampage Brown after he got headbutted himself before this match began.
As I said, Greg, I think this one is in danger of breaking the ring. These are two, the big boys, okay? The big guys, okay?
I just don't know quite how sensible that was from Moose after the dazed look on his face after the attack before the match, using his head like that. But here we can see the movement, here we can see the speed of the former Atlanta Falcon. Going for the hesitation drop kick. Perfectly executed.
Now, if you look on paper at the stats of Moose, like you say, weighing over 300 pounds, would you think that you could get that kind of hang time on a drop kick? Imagine that weight coming down on somebody's face. But Rampage returning the favour there from the corner.
Indeed he was.
Oh, my goodness.
This is one of his moves.
Oh! A huge choke bomb from the top. He goes for the cover. This surely has to be it.
He calls it the go to hell.
2.
Oh! Rampage, though, is able to escape from the fires of the gates themselves at the very last possible second from the go to hell. And Moose now.
What's he going for here? He's pulling him up by the trunks. Looks like he's going to spin
He's going
him
for
out.
the game breaker. Oh! Rampage out of the way. He almost hit Andrea Malalana with the game breaker. That short clothesline.
Did you see that? Did you?
I don't think Malalana did. He see it? I'm not sure. Pile driver.
Oh
Rampage.
my!
1, 2. No!
Oh my
Moose kicks
God.
out. Moose kicked out, and Rampage's finishing move, the pile driver, after I think it was a low blow.
Well,
Was it a low
Greg, to
blow,
the
Joe?
untrained eye, it was a pile driver, but to the wrestler and everyone, I think what we saw there is, oh my
he
goodness, a
planted it.
seated pile driver, a second powder, 1, 2, 3, and that's going to be all. What a victory, what a statement from Rampage Brown, and yes, I think you're correct. What happened was, he distracted the referee, and he hit him in the willy, Greg. He hit him in the willy.
Well, we talked about Britain versus America. We talked about the fact there is some needle backstage between some of the Brits and some of the Americans about this long history, this long wait that British wrestling has had to be back on television here in the UK. Rampage may be one of those guys that feels that way. He just proved on this occasion, albeit with some questionable tactics,
Hey.
on this night, he was better than Moose.
Hey, listen, I'm going to try my best to be unbiased here, but, you know, I'm kind of rooting for the British guys, so I think they've got to do whatever they've got to do to make sure they can make a statement, and what a statement was made there. And guess what, Greg? The ring survived that one. I didn't think it was going to, but it did. God, we must have had about 600 pounds in there.
Well, as Moose, dazed and groggy from the pile drivers, from headbutting Rampage Brown himself, makes his way backstage. Rampage Brown has basically made it a great start for Britain here tonight. Hammer Haskins is the first ever Tapper Snap champion. Rampage Brown beats the 6'5" former American footballer.
What a beginning to five-star wrestling. Think of the action we've seen. I'm exhausted already, Greg. How can we keep up with that? The ring survived that one, though, I'm glad. But, you know, let me just take over here. You don't need to be on camera. I'll just take it.
What are you doing? Excuse me. I've waited 15 years for this.
All right.
And this is Liverpool.
All right, okay.
This is the motherland. We are here live. My mum's from Liverpool. Hello, Mum. I hope you're watching. We are live on Free Sports, and we are going to go. What we're going to now? I think we're going to SoCal Val. SoCal Val.
No, Greg, let's hang back on that. Let's check out the press conference footage. The press conference that was heard from all over the world where the altercation took place. Let's take a look. Truck, I want to see it.
Anything can happen when you're live.
Now,
So
Greg,
here we see that basically what you're seeing here is what happened at Sheffield, where Jake Hager was unveiled as the new big signing for Five Star Wrestling. He made some disparaging comments about American wrestling being better than British wrestling. English Lion Eddie Ryan stepped up to the plate and got in his face, and the fight broke out. And there you can see the other stars on Five Star Wrestling trying to separate it as they basically punched a great big hole in the wall. There was a bill came in from the Sheffield Arena. And now SoCal Val's
backstage with the All-American Jake Hager. Now, Jake, a few weeks ago at the press conference, you had some strong opinions about British wrestling. You said British wrestling was here and American wrestling was up here. Now, we've just seen Rampage Brown defeat Moose. So does that change your opinion about British wrestling or about your opponent tonight, the English Lion, Eddie Ryan?
Well, that was an incredible battle, and look, Val, no one has to convince me that British wrestling is hot. It is. We wouldn't be live to 18 million households right now across the UK if British wrestling wasn't hot. I mean, Rampage Brown just proved that British wrestlers are better than most wrestlers in the world. But look at me. I'm not most people. I'm special. So when I walk into a building, the line starts here, because I'm the type of guy who can wear his face on his shirt, walk into a building, tell everyone that I'm better than them, and walk out of the building smiling. So I'm not looking past Eddie Ryan, but you can bring on English Lion, Tiger, or Bear, oh my, and I'm going to fight them, because I'm here for one reason. I want that championship. So I'm looking at the match tonight, John Morrison, Rob Van Dam, whoever the winner is, they got me next.
Welcome back to 5 Star Wrestling Live on Free Sports. Before the break, we heard Jake Hager once again making some very pointed comments. It looks like he's basically looking past the English Lion and looking to head to the winner of Morrison v RVD.
I think deep down he knows how good the British talent is. Look, he's got goals, you've got to be brash, you've got to be bold, you've got to say that to get the attention, to get those 2 million views. But he knows how good the English Lion is.
Well, we may find out tonight. 5 Star Wrestling Tag Team Championship action coming up next, the first of 2 semi-finals.
The following is a tag team match, and it is a semi-final for the 5 Star Wrestling Tag Team Championship. Introducing first,
now here's a man who's made a big noise in the run-up to this historic night. A lot of press, a lot of media attention on the reality television star, Adam Flex Maxted.
Now, believe it or not, I met this guy a few years ago. This was before Love Island, before all that attention, and it was clear that he was a star right from the get-go. I remember meeting him, and I knew that we were going to be seeing him on big stages like this. Not only him, though, let's not forget about Charlie Sterling, who is one of the most... He's an amazing athlete. If you look at his size, you think he's going to be a power wrestler, but he can flip with the best of them.
Indeed.
Money!
The team known as Max Money, Maxted and Sterling, Max Money. And you can see that Charlie, you can tell why the Bristolian claims that he has a specs appeal.
I'm loving the music as well.
Adam Maxted calls himself wrestling's most handsome man from Northern Ireland, and he's got a microphone in his hand. I think Maxted has something to say. Charlie Sterling up on the middle rope.
Not that I even needed an introduction, seeing as I am a celebrity.
He is.
A reality TV star.
It's true.
The most handsome man in wrestling, which is the reason why my face is on every poster and every billboard around this country.
It's on my wall as well.
I'm the reason that everyone bought a ticket to be here tonight.
I don't think Liverpool
And I'm
agrees.
the reason that when 5 Star Wrestling were putting their roster together, they knew that they had to sign me. But I only agreed to be here on one condition, because they told me I was going to be in a tag team. And I decided the only reason I would be here is if I got to pick my own tag team partner. A man who is also handsome. A man who also has a great physique. A man who is incredibly gifted in the...
Oh, they've just interrupted Adam Maxted, for God's sakes.
I don't think this is quite who Maxted was describing. Although, to be honest with you, I think it's a pretty appropriate description for him. It is the man who spits in the face of people who don't want to be cool. I guess that's me. Carlito!
Ladies and gentlemen, making his way
And
to
I'll
the
tell you
ring.
what, I'm happy with being cool. I don't want apple in my face, you know what I'm saying? Oh, he's got one with him as well. He looks like he can get about 10 bites out of that, so be careful, Greg, because you're not that cool, you know. Look at yourself.
He is cool, he is cocky, he's charismatic, he's also a champion, an 18-time champion in his native Puerto Rico, the Caribbean Ric Flair, if you will, Carlito. I don't think he wants to get in the ring 1 against 2, but thankfully he's got his big buddy, who look backing him up, the masterpiece, Chris Masters.
And look at the physical condition that Chris Masters is in. Again, another unbelievable athlete and a veteran of the business. Carlito and Chris Masters have teamed all over the world, everywhere there is to go. So they're a well-oiled tag team, and they're ready to go.
And look at that. I tell you what, they didn't put their money where their mouth was, did they, Max Money? They've just taken a hike. And in the ring, Carlito and Chris Masters known collectively as the Masters of Cool.
Oh, I like that. That's good. That's branding right there.
Carlito's looking for a microphone.
Oh, Carlito wants a microphone. Someone, oh.
Well, it's good to be back, but I don't know, guys, I'm just getting a little old. Apparently, these two guys have the best of seats. And apparently, these fine people paid a ticket to see them.
I did.
Well then, if they paid a ticket to see you, then why don't you come on in and let's see who's better. And if I don't like what I see, I brought something with me.
Now, Greg, can I just point out, that is an illegal weapon. He shouldn't be using that apple.
What, an apple?
Well, yeah, I could crack you off the dome right now and you'd die.
They know the saying, Joe. They say an apple a day keeps the doctor away. It's healthy.
Trust me.
It's not a weapon.
Trust me, if I hit you with an apple, you need a doctor, you need a priest.
I mean, I eat an apple every day, and look at me. Case closed.
Exactly.
So here we are. Basically, we've got youth versus experience right here. We've got the upstarts from the UK. Charlie Sterling, the man who claims he is worth every single pound, from Bristol, versus the Puerto Rican Carlito. Carlito been wrestling for an awful lot of years. Been all around the world, a second-generation wrestler. His father, Carlos, was a wrestler. His brothers, Primo and Epico, a great tag team. World champions, in fact.
And the crowd seems right behind them here in Liverpool.
Been wrestling since he was knee-high on the islands in the Caribbean.
Now, could you just tell that cameraman not to knock that apple over? That is an important piece of wrestling history there. You see it right there at Chris Masters' feet. There's the apple. There it is.
You seem a little focused on the apple.
Look at how glorious it is.
Well, maybe Carlito is the apple of Chris Masters' eye, because these two men have been friends for a long time. At times they've had a stormy relationship in a previous life when they tagged with each other. It didn't always run smoothly, but, you know, over the years, travelling together, they've both found that they have a similar sense of humour. They're both very fun-loving, very easygoing, at times quite sarcastic, particularly Carlito.
But I'll tell you what, let's not write off the multitasking of Charlie Sterling there. Take a moment to do some lunges in the ring. Lunges, Greg.
Our referee is Chris Roberts, from the land of our fathers.
Oh, has he got? He's got some hair there. I think he may have grabbed some hair to get him into the corner, but you know what? If the ref doesn't see it, it never happened.
Charlie Sterling, very animated, very arrogant. And Carlito, I think, slightly riled by that, went for a big swinging clothesline, missed it. Sterling moving out of the way and unloading with a series of big right-hand shots. Carlito, I think he probably absorbed them in that rather fetching mop of hair he has.
He did, and the referee is telling him that that was illegal. But I want to see that enforced.
Yeah, absolutely, close fist not allowed.
Nor should they be, Greg.
But are you going to tell Carlito?
I'll send an email.
Big drop kick, Carlito, look at the agility. He's looking in tremendous shape, isn't
Absolutely, he's been wrestling for a very long time, as you say, but still agile as ever. Perhaps more agile than we've ever seen him before. But in comes Adam Maxted. He's right, he is a celebrity. His face is on all the posters. Well, he is a big fan.
You can follow Carlito at his Twitter handle, which is @BodyGuyLito. But speaking of body conscious, they don't get much more body conscious than Adam Flex Maxted, who basically never saw a mirror he didn't like.
Absolutely, and you know, for good reason, really. But hopefully doesn't spend too much time focusing on that, because let's not forget the fact that he is in the ring with veterans right now. And if he wants to show off physique, might not want to do it against Chris Masters. I'm going to keep my jacket on for now, Greg.
Let's have a pose down between the two body beautifuls. Look at Masters, 6'4", 18 stone, and 9 pounds, and not an ounce of fat to be found. And the Belfast beefcake
And see, Greg, I want to give you a bit personal advice. This, now look right here, this in front of you. That's what can happen if you go to the gym.
I do go to the gym.
What do you work? What do you do?
It just doesn't go right.
Do you go on the bike? Whee!
I do a bit of
rowing machine.
I do a bit of running.
Oh, a bit of running at the gym. You can do that outside.
It's usually away from trouble.
You're so pathetic, Greg.
Wait a second, we have a Greco-Roman knuckle-lock standoff here between the Californian, the masterpiece Chris Masters, and the man from Northern Ireland.
Now, being a freestyle amateur wrestler myself, slightly different from Greco, but I can understand what's going on here. And this is as much a mental battle as anything else. Because look, you're not going to win the match with that, but it's about getting one up mentally on your opponent. And Adam Maxted has just decided to one up and kick him right in the stomach. Just kick him. Just kick him.
Well, the man who became famous on Love Island, there's absolutely no love lost between Maxted and his opponents tonight. And what a backdrop by Masters and Charlie Sterling.
Oh no! Adam Maxted crashing to the outside. Who will be on our posters now?
And the Masters of Cool are standing tall in our first semi-final of the 5-star tag team tournament.
Now, the young tag taking a second to just regroup on the outside, which is actually a veteran maneuver. I respect that.
I mean, Maxted and Sterling have clearly bonded over being, you know, kindred spirits, a similar height. You know, they're both, I suppose, they're both, you know, fairly good-looking lads and what have you. But what do you think?
You sounded really awkward when you said that, Greg. You can just say it. It's 2018. They're good-looking guys.
Good-looking
Jesus.
lads. Yeah, absolutely. But you know, what do you think actually? Other than that, that's quite superficial. What actually bonds these two men, Joe?
Well, I think the thing is that they're almost like the new breed of the British wrestling scene. As you say, the thing about Adam Maxted is he talks the talk about being a celebrity and all this, but I'm going to let you in on a little secret. He's not lying when he says he's the hardest working guy on the scene at the moment, because the work he's put in a few years is unbelievable, and he actually deserves to be where he is. As is Charlie Sterling as well. This guy's an incredible athlete.
Absolutely, he's a former gymnast. You know, this guy's been out here, he was on the trampoline as a young boy. You know, basically owning his agility from a very young age.
But you know, you can be as flashy as you want. It's all about effectiveness. It's all about getting the job done, and that's what veterans do. But I'll tell you what, that's a surprising veteran maneuver from Maxted right there.
Chris Roberts is going to get him to cut that out. Oh, wait a second, miscommunication from Max Money.
Absolutely. Is that what they're calling themselves nowadays? That makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely. I think it was a last-minute change before the show that they realised it had it sort of tripped off the tongue.
It just makes sense, Greg. It just makes sense.
Yeah, Sterling being Money. And so far, it's been a sterling effort. Charlie, without a doubt, and Adam have got Carlito, the more experienced, the more decorated veteran, trapped in their own corner, and they are double-teaming him behind the referee's back. Referee's basically telling Chris Masters to get out of the ring.
I have to say, I did not expect this. Now, if you look at the two youngsters, if you will, the two young lions they're cutting off the ring. They're taking it to Carlito. They're using the referee against their opponent. They're using all the veteran moves. Yeah, they've got the agility.
Both in the mid-20s, but don't think, you'd be mistaken in thinking that Charlie Sterling, particularly, is just a rookie. This guy has been seasoned. He has been wrestling all over the UK in the small halls and holiday camps, learning his trade, preparing for this moment to be live on British television.
And let me just let the viewers at home know what's going on here. The last thing that Max Money wants is for Carlito to be able to make the tag. Because Chris Masters is, as we've said, he's an explosive athlete, he's ready to go, and he's taking a lot less damage, so if he gets in the ring, it makes it far less likely that Max Money can win. So that's what they're trying to do. They're cutting off the ring here. Take control of Carly.
Well, the hot-headed Masters is playing into the plan at the moment. Maxted has not been in the ring as long in his professional wrestling career as Charlie Sterling. As we said, he shot to fame on the reality television show Love Island, where he didn't really endear himself to his fellow islanders. But I tell you what, he's doing particularly well against the man from another island, from the Caribbean.
Now the referee's going to have to restore order here. He's sending Chris Masters to the ring apron, but in return, Max Money managed to capitalize once again, doing further damage to Carlito. If they can keep this up, one has to think that the match is going to be over rather soon in Max Money's favor. Will Carlito manage to make the tag? Don't interrupt, Greg.
Close fists. Can I talk now? Chris Roberts.
Wait there. No, you can't talk. You can talk.
I was going to say that Chris Roberts did a good job in telling
Oh, God, look, the miscommunication between Max Money, Charlie Sterling off the top rope with the double axe handle to his own partner. He's trying to regroup.
Lots of miscommunications with this fairly new team. This is the first time, as far as I'm aware, that Adam Flex, Maxted and Charlie Sterling have ever teamed. Carlito and Chris Masters have been teaming on and off for the best part of 15, 16, 17 years.
And with two huge clotheslines here, off the ropes, it's reversed. And a huge jumping shoulder tackle, reminding the youngsters who's in charge here. Chris Masters is firing on all cylinders right now.
What an Adonis this man is, as Masters whips Charlie Sterling into the ropes. Sterling catches him with a well-placed boot. But wait a second, into the spine buster from the masterpiece. 1, 2, oh, and Maxted cleverly coming in and breaking up the count.
And Carlito's back in again. He's regrouped a little bit. He's sending Maxted to the outside. Carlito follows, and now we're left in the ring with Chris Masters and Charlie Sterling. Is it fair to say the crowd are firmly behind Chris Masters and Carlito?
Absolutely. Well, Carlito, they've been the favourites tonight. The Masters of Cool. There's no doubt about it, as Carlito isolates Maxted outside the ring, and Masters looks to be setting up for his finishing move. The full Nelson. We saw tap or snap. We saw submissions earlier tonight. There's very few more vaunted submission holds than the Master Lock. And look at that, Maxted once again saving his partner. And this guy is improving rapidly as a professional wrestler. And he's getting a great education tonight, learning fast.
And again, there was nothing fancy about that, but it was effective. They're just beating down Chris Masters. They've gone for the double team here. Let's take a look. Oh, not today.
Oh, wait a second, Carlito pulling down the top rope. And once again, sending Maxted to the outside. And what is Masters telling Carlito to do? He's got the apple, Joe.
Oh, he's got the apple. Oh, excellent. Here we go.
This
is my favourite bit. I want to see this.
Has he not had his 5 a day?
He's had 4 of them. He's about to get 5th.
We've seen this before. Carlito, he's at it at the top of this match. He spits in the face of people who do not want to be cool. And Charlie Sterling could be about to get a mouthful of corn. Oh no, wait a second. Yes!
And there's apple all over the ring, for God's sakes.
I don't think Charlie Sterling is vegetarian. Or foodtarian. Wait a second, Max takes Carlito out, rolls up Masters 2, 3,
oh my goodness!
Max Money have scored the upset! And what an upset!
And just like his appearance on Love Island, he saw an opportunity and he took it. Max Money advances in the tag team tournament. That, I have to be honest, Greg, was not the result that I was expecting, but I'm very, very impressed by Max Money. Take nothing away, though, from Chris Masters and Carlito.
Well, everything was going the Masters of Cool's way. Charlie Sterling got a mouthful of, well, a face full of fruit, courtesy of Carlito. But Masters, his back was turned, and Maxted, I told you he was improving. I told you he was getting an education. Dissension in the ranks possibly here between the Masters of Cool. They will move on, though. Max Money to our final. And later tonight we will find out who they will meet in that final. We'll be back on 5 Star Wrestling. Okay, so five-star tag team tournament will continue later on tonight here on Five-Star Wrestling Live on Free Sports. But coming up, we're going to have that huge grudge match, and we heard what Jake Hager had to say earlier this evening about Eddie Ryan. I think we should find out what Eddie's going to say.
He can wear his face on his shirt, walk into a building and tell everyone that I'm better than them, and walk out of the building smiling. So I'm not looking past Eddie Ryan, but you can bring on English Lion, Tiger, or Bear, oh my, and I'm going to fight them because I'm here for one reason. I want that championship. So I'm looking at the match tonight. John Morrison, Rob Van Dam, whoever the winner is, they got me next.
So yeah, Eddie Ryan, I think he really we need to hear what he has to say about Jake Hager. Jake Hager's done a lot of talking, the English Lion. We're going to find out whether he's a man of action.
Hey guys, it's SoCal Val backstage with Eddie Ryan. Now Eddie, tonight you faced the All-American American Jake Hager, who earlier tonight had some unsavory comments about not only you, but British wrestlers.
That's typical of Jake. Press conference, talk, talk, talk. Tonight, it's talk, talk, talk. Now, lions don't talk. They roar. And Jake, you will hear me roar.
Let's take it back to ringside.
So there we are. Eddie Ryan, the English Lion, stood up for British wrestling and British wrestlers, made a name for himself. Can he continue that tonight against the highly dangerous and respected former world champion and dual sports star, Jake Hager?
The following is a singles match set for one fall. Introducing first.
So here we go, Joe. The time for talking is over.
Can we just get back? Can we get security?
Can we sort that out?
Ladies and gentlemen, making his way to the ring, he is the All-American American. This is Jake Hager.
Okay, I think we'll just need to carry. Okay, I think we're just going to have to move on, folks. Coming to the ring is Jake Hager. Now, as you said, we're going to find out if he's a man of action. We heard his words earlier, but let's not forget, he's signed up to fight in Bellator this year. He means business. He's going to be a dual athlete, but we saw some serious action at the press conference.
And his opponent.
So now we'll see what the Lion is made of. He says he's going to roar. We will find out if he is indeed what he says he is, or whether Jake Hager can turn him into a pussycat. We will find out right now on Free Sports.
Now, Greg, over 2 million people saw the brawl that took place at the press conference. I was right there. I was right in the middle of it. And I'll tell you what, I thought I was going to have to go to the hospital just because I was nearby. The size of that guy. I mean, the thing is, Jake Hager's an unbelievable athlete. We know he's competed at the highest level all over the world, but tonight, the English Lion is not only trying to make a name for himself, he feels like he's defending his nation.
Well, let's talk about the credentials of the All-American American. 6'7", 19 stone. A guy who at high school was an American football and an amateur wrestling standout. He was an All-American in amateur wrestling. He holds the record, or he set a record at the time, in Oklahoma, his native state, for the most amateur wrestling pins in a season. He basically stopped playing American football to concentrate on amateur wrestling, and then he got signed and he became the world heavyweight champion. And now he's in five-star wrestling, and he wants to be here so he can reach millions and millions of homes in the UK. But he also says that he wants to prove that American wrestling is superior to the British style. Eddie Ryan, you may not know too much about him. Joe, I mean, this guy, everybody's been talking about him. but only after what happened 3 weeks ago.
Absolutely. Well, we didn't know much about him before, but we certainly do now, because I'll tell you what, it takes, excuse the language, I'm going to say the B word, but it takes balls to stand up to somebody like that. You know, I mean, look at the size difference. For him to do that at the press conference, I am impressed with that. But I'll tell you this, I actually personally, you know, I'm an amateur wrestler. I signed up to be a training partner for Jake Hager for his upcoming fight. I'm regretting it right now. I'm regretting it, Greg. Guy's an insane athlete.
He certainly is. We talked about, well, we had the Tap or Snap Championship. Mark Haskins crowned the first 5-star Tap or Snap champion earlier tonight, but this is a guy who knows submission holds. He's a master of the ankle lock, and of course, training for a mixed martial arts career as he is, he'll be learning an awful lot about stretching the joints and making his opponents tap. But Eddie Ryan, he's got himself in shape, and he is fired up. This is his moment. He's on the big stage. He's never been on a stage like this before at Liverpool Echo Arena, live on UK TV.
And one thing that I'm noticing is, despite the fact that Eddie's clearly emotional, his timing was on point there, and it has to be when you take somebody on the size of Jake Hager.
Well, let's explain a little bit about who Eddie Ryan is. Born in Plymouth, a massive Plymouth Argyle football fan, now lives in Swindon. He's 32 years of age. A really hard worker in the gym, very technically sound. He spent some time in the wrestling dojos of Japan years ago, and he has been flying under the radar a little bit, perhaps British wrestling's best kept secret. And maybe, do you think there was a little bit of calculation in him standing up to Jake Hager? Did he see that as his moment for the spotlight?
I mean, to me personally, that's going to be a subconscious thing, because you see the emotion from it. It was an emotional response. I don't think he was saying, how do I further my career here? He was thinking, I'm going to stand up for myself. I'm going to stand up for the British wrestlers. I'm going to stand up for the nation.
Absolutely, and the Liverpool fans are firmly behind their fellow countrymen.
And Jake Hager's just applying pressure, giving him absolutely no space to breathe whatsoever. And those shots are not only painful, but they're right to the stomach. It goes to the solar plexus as well. You just can't breathe when that's going on. And like I said, I've been unlucky enough to face Jake Hager before, and, you know, he feel too great the next day.
He slowed the pace right down, Joe. There's no doubt about it. He is very much making Eddie Ryan dance to the beat of his own drum right now. But look at Ryan. This guy once again standing up to the big American. The man who says he wears the suits, the expensive suits. The man who says that he is better than everybody else in 5-star wrestling. The man who wants a title shot. Well, if Eddie Ryan can beat him tonight, that's not going to happen. Look at that. Hager is riled right now. Has Eddie Ryan got under his skin? Has he been seething about what happened in Sheffield?
It's just a vicious stomping. I mean, we know about Jake Hager's amateur wrestling credentials, but we're not seeing that right now. We're just seeing a beatdown.
Huge short clothesline from the dual sports star, the man who is training for a career in mixed martial arts but wanted to come over to Britain to prove himself, because he knows that this is an opportunity to make history here live on Free Sports with 5-star wrestling.
That's one of the awesome things about 5-star wrestling, is they're not bringing him in for one show. You know what I mean? He is signed to 5-star wrestling. We're going to be seeing him every week, and that's a huge commitment from an athlete like Jake Hager. So if he's here, he means business.
He's putting all his weight now on the shoulders of Eddie Ryan, leaning into him as he applies that reverse chin lock, cutting off the blood flow to the brain of Eddie Ryan, trying to wear him down. You'll not necessarily get a tap out with a hold like that, but you will certainly make your opponent groggy, and it enables you to follow up, perhaps with something devastating.
And also, Greg, as we said before, you can make your opponent tired. You can cut off their air supply. If they can't breathe, they can't recover, they can't be explosive, they can't use the moves that they need to win the contest. So Jake Hager's being very calculated and scientific in breaking down his opponent right now. The thing is, his opponent was, as we say, a very emotional man going into this contest. But is he going to be able to use that emotion to overcome the challenge this year? The crowd here in Liverpool certainly wants him to, but we'll see if he will.
We are seeing all the grappling techniques of the former amateur wrestling standout from Oklahoma, now residing in Tampa, Florida, Jake Hager. But we are also seeing the heart and spirit of an English lion.
He's finally managed to create some space between him and Jake Hager. Well, that's before receiving some boots to the stomach that again cut off the air supply.
Hager's setting up, he's really getting some momentum going in for a huge line, and he's run straight through Ryan. Has he knocked him out? Hooks the leg. This could be it. Eddie Ryan kicks out. Eddie Ryan showing the pride.
Absolutely. I want you to think about, look at how much must Jake Hager weigh? Again, we're getting to that upper echelon in the weight category.
Yeah.
He bounced off the ropes a number of times there, adding to his momentum, and then a huge lariat, taking his head clean off, and he was still able to kick out. So respect has to go to Eddie Ryan for that.
He outweighs the English Lion by a good 4 stone. There's no doubt about it. You know, he said the Americans are bigger. He said they're better. He's certainly bigger. I don't think he's proved yet that he is better. Eddie Ryan is still in this match. Eddie Ryan is sticking around.
He's in a very precarious position right now. He's teetering on the edge. What's Jake Hager looking for here from the top rope?
Once again, just showing a little bit of disrespect. That's what Eddie Ryan shouted in Jake Hager's face at the press conference before the brawl kicked off. Show me some respect. Hager has shown him no respect. Ryan, though, needs to show a similar level of disrespect. Forget about the fact he's facing a world champion. Forget about the fact that he's facing a guy who is so skilled in so many disciplines. And just take it to him. And that's what he's doing right now with that flying elbow.
I mean, the thing is, he wants him to show him some respect, but in return, he just showed him a giant elbow to the face.
Once again, a little bit of a disturbance just over the right shoulder, but anyway, we'll carry on with what's going on in the ring. A huge uppercut from Eddie Ryan on Jake Hager, and a second one. Ryan is really starting to hit a new gear as he lands a back suplex, hooks the leg. Can he score another upset? That would be another upset, and what a roll we would be on tonight with British wrestling if Eddie Ryan could beat Jake Hager after the victories we've seen so far tonight for Rampage Brown and Max Money.
And Eddie Ryan was pleading with the referee there, because let me tell you what happens after needing to use your momentum like that to land a huge back suplex on someone the size of Jake Hager. It gives you that adrenaline dump after the move's done. He just can't believe that he wasn't able to put him away. He's charging up now, goes for what looks like a super kick straight into the ankle lock.
This is the move. He's won so many matches all over the world. Small package by Eddie Ryan. He's got Jake Hager. Oh my goodness me. Hager can't believe it. He was nearly pinned. He kicked out, but he hits him with a high angle belly-to-belly suplex, and Ryan kicks out.
We're seeing some serious resilience from Eddie Ryan there. That was a huge slam.
This match is building to an exciting conclusion, but which way is it going to go? Hager, is Eddie Ryan not going anywhere in this match? Is that getting into Hager's head? Is he finally gaining respect for British wrestlers?
Absolutely. Behind all the talk, we know what he said, but Jake Hager must respect the English line by this point. He must respect British wrestling after he's managed to kick out of everything he's thrown at. But the match isn't over yet, Greg.
His other big move is the gut wrench powerbomb. We saw him going for it there with a waistlock, but he could not lift the English Lion. Ryan plants his feet. Oh, but so does Swagger. Plants his foot into the bread basket. And there is the gut wrench bomb. And this time that could be it. That could finally be the end for this brave young man from the southwest of England. This is a big move of Swagger's.
This has to be it, Greg. This has to be it. 1, 2. Oh my goodness! The English Lion kicks out. That is unbelievable. What I will say, I'll say it once again. If Jake Hager didn't respect Eddie Ryan, he will do now. I cannot believe he kicked out of that. The people at home can't believe he kicked out, and the people here live in Liverpool cannot quite believe it.
Neither can Jake Hager. Look at the shake of the head. Jake Hager thought he could walk in here and run through the man that he disrespectfully called the English kitty cat.
And he's wondering, Greg, I've been there before, he's wondering, what do you need to throw at your opponent now? Now he's trying to break him down mentally with some disrespect there. Is it a smart move against an emotional man? I'm not sure.
He's hit all these big moves. He put him in the ankle lock. He hit the gut wrench powerbomb. He went for the double jump splash. But he's got the ankle lock on again. He's in his centre ring. Ryan has got to remember all his fans around England, all the fans in Plymouth, all the people who are looking forward to seeing him when 5-star wrestling comes to his hometown in just 3 weeks' time here on Free Sports. What a night that'll be for Eddie Ryan. And he would love to go into Plymouth, having beaten Jake Hager, but he's in danger of tapping right now.
Will he have the strength? He's going to use that emotion to try and work his way to the bottom rope, but Jake Hager pulls him right back in. He's kicked him off, though.
Survival once again for the English Lion. I cannot believe that he is still in this match. Enziguri kick. The Japanese head kick. Swagger is on rubber legs.
Oh,
super
straight
kick
to the jaw.
Wait a second, Eddie Ryan setting him up. He's going to hit him with... Oh, second half, possibly going for a Plymouth slam. But wait a second, folding press.
Oh.
And Swagger's got the middle rope. And that... Swagger is... Sorry, Hager, I should say. I forgot myself. Hager has stolen it.
Now, Eddie Ryan was going for what I believe he calls the George Cross there. And Jake Hager, let's just be honest, he had to use those ropes to get the pinfall over the British athlete. He threw everything that he had, Eddie Ryan, and it wasn't enough, so he used the ropes to get the win. Hey, look, I can't knock it, he got the win, but he had to cheat to get it done, Greg. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I said swagger, and I guess that Jake Hager is now swaggering out of here, having, in his own mind, proved a point. I don't think he's proved anything.
Give me a tap. I mean, where's the camera?
The camera will be stood about...
Okay. Do you want to just do something like this when I'm on or something? Okay, yeah. Yeah. Cool. Is it live to the crowd or not?
Well, you're back with us live here at the Liverpool Echo Arena on this historic night. Five-Star Wrestling live on Free Sports, British Wrestling back on the television after so many years live. And Eddie Ryan, what can you say? What a performance. I think we need to really, put across what an effort he put in against a former world champion, a dual sports star in Jake Hager, who had to, let's face it, cheat to win.
As we said, we saw the press conference. 2 million people saw the press conference. That was where this all kicked off. Again, 2 million people watched how this match came about. And here we see Eddie Ryan was going for the George Cross. Jake Hager used the ropes to roll him up. Any means necessary, but Greg, he got the win.
It's not
Is that
allowed.
the difference?
It's not allowed to hold the ropes while you're pinning your opponent, and the referee didn't see it, and that means that if the referee doesn't see it, he cannot call it. Jake Hager will get one in the record books. He's done what he said he was going to do, but Eddie Ryan comes out of that with reputation enhanced.
What I wonder is, how is Eddie Ryan going to react to this? What's next for Eddie Ryan? Because he's not going to feel that's not conclusive. Jake Hager didn't beat him fair and square.
Well, we talked about Eddie Ryan being from Plymouth, and we talked about the fact that we are going to Plymouth on February the 22nd at the Plymouth Pavilions.
Well, I'll mark it in my diary.
Absolutely, we are. Tickets are on sale now, 5starwrestling.co.uk, as indeed they are for all our shows. We're in Newcastle next week. Thursday night we'll be in Newcastle next week, live on Free Sports at the Metro Radio Arena, and then in Sheffield on February the 15th from the Fly DSA Arena. Anyway, I believe we're going backstage. Yes, absolutely. And guess who we've got? We've got the man himself with SoCal Val.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am backstage with Rey Mysterio. Rey, you surprised everyone by showing up at the Royal Rumble last Sunday, but now you're here live in the UK for 5-Star Wrestling. But tell us, what does 2018 hold for Rey Mysterio?
I'll tell you, first off, being at the Rumble, wow, what an incredible experience. Now, as far as 5-Star Wrestling, I've been wrestling with them for about 2 years now, off and on, and there's one thing that I do remember. 5-Star Wrestling said they wanted to cater to the UK fans and be able to put on a wrestling show live on TV. Here we are now on Free Sports, week after week with live wrestling. Doesn't get any better than that.
And tonight, it's a truly star-studded event. We've got the All-American Jake Hager. We've got RVD, John Morrison. But what are your thoughts on the 5-Star Wrestling roster?
I tell you what, an incredible roster. Wrestlers that are hungry. Did you just see Eddie Ryan out there? Seconds away from winning that title.
Hey. You don't need to worry yourself about Eddie Ryan. You need to look at the man stood right in front of you, Liverpool's #1, Zach Gibson. Soon to be recognised as 5-Star Wrestling's #1. This is not going to be an easy payday for you. This is not going to be another cash grab for you. This is going to be the hardest night you have had in a long, long time.
following is a singles match set for one fall. Introducing first, from Liverpool, is Liverpool's #1. This is Zach Gibson.
Tear that generic crap off right now. I am Liverpool's #1, Zach Gibson. Soon to be recognised as 5-Star Wrestling's #1. Soon to be recognised as the UK's #1. And soon to be recognised as the world's #1. I don't know if any of you have noticed, but every single Yank that has walked to this ring today has came out to their own original, unique music. And once again, the Brits are an afterthought, walking out to generic video game tracks. The reason why we are continuously, repeatedly overlooked and underappreciated is because so-called big companies such as this are ran by punters, by marks, by an office of dweebs. They booked this entire show in their bedroom, playing with their Rob Van Dam figure, playing with their John Morrison figure, and out the corner of their eye, they saw the limited edition Rey Mysterio, one of a kind, that their ma bought them for Christmas. So they got him on the phone and they threw 20 grand at him to get him to fly to Liverpool. I'm here every week. I'm here every month. I'm here every night, breaking my back for crowds up and down, and I get absolutely no applause, absolutely no thanks, because once again, the Yanks take all of the plaudits. Five-Star Wrestling, you can book this show with all of your favourite American wrestlers. You can film it on the promoter's calculator, and you can try and put it out there for the world to see. But the fact remains the same. I am Liverpool's #1. Soon to be recognised as the world's #1. And that starts right here, right now, with Rey Mysterio.
I don't think there's very much I can add to that.
He called everyone dweebs. Hey, I got a joke for you. When is Zach Gibson going to be #1? Soon!
And his opponent!
Oh, wait a second, look at this. Well, Rey Mysterio was on fire at the weekend. And the temperature's definitely rising right now.
Making his way to the ring.
And here comes the master of the 619, Rey Mysterio.
This is Rey.
This show is literally on fire right now, Greg. Literally. Not even just figuratively or metaphorically. Literally.
The fastest man you'll see in a mask since Spider-Man chased the Green Goblin up the side of a building. It's the greatest luchador, the all-time greatest high-flying wrestler this world has ever seen. The children's favourite, and a man who I believe, okay, elements perhaps of truth in some of the things that Zach Gibson said, but a lot of that was really not fair. A lot of that was not true.
He said the D word. He called us dweebs.
The disrespect, I apologise, shown to a legend, a future Hall of Famer like Rey Mysterio. And Gibson is making this. We've talked about it all night. He sees himself as some kind of self-styled ambassador for British wrestling, but I'm not entirely sure that he is the greatest role model for our cause all the time. That's all I'll say.
Well, it invokes two reactions from me. You know, on one hand, I'm upset that he called everyone dweebs, but on the other hand,
he was calling you a dweeb, was he?
Well, I don't know if we're included in that. We're the commentators. I don't know if if the dweeb insults came our way. I don't know, Greg. I'm not a doctor. But as I was saying again before, you keep interrupting me, Gregory.
Don't call me Gregory.
Or what? What are you going to do? I'll slap you a boot. Anyway, you're making me go back to talking in a Scottish way here. I'm a professional here. Let me just clear up that, get rid of that accent again. I'm going to be more neutral, because right now, this is an unbelievable match. Behind what Zach Gibson said, look, again, it evokes two reactions. On one hand, I'm impressed with Zach Gibson for, you know, again, having the B word, the balls, to stand up to a legend like that, because he feels that the British scene has been somewhat disrespected. But in fairness of the promotion, here's an opportunity for the Brits to show how good they really are, and now he does have to put his money where his mouth is. And also, I want to say thanks to those fire dancers there who did a very nice and professional job.
They absolutely did. This is five-star wrestling. This is the big time. It's Liverpool Echo Arena. It's Zach Gibson's home city. Very much a mixed reaction, though, to the motor-mouthed Scouser, the man with a cause. And you know, to me, though, Joe, you know, he's basically biting the hand that feeds him by saying that. I mean, five-star wrestling promoters have given him this platform. They've given them this massive match.
Well, I know, I'll happily take his spot on the poster. I'll happily take that. But here's the thing. I mean, Rey Mysterio is an unbelievable athlete. We saw he had a phenomenal performance at the Royal Rumble. But look at the size and the power and the technique of Zach Gibson. When it comes to British wrestling, hold for hold British wrestling, Zach Gibson is one of the best in the world. But Rey Mysterio has proven why he's been on top of the game for all these years. He can go with anybody of any size, and we're seeing that. Look at the condition that Rey Mysterio's in.
Well, the shape he's in is absolutely incredible, particularly after the number of problems he's had with his knees over the years. We saw last year when he came to five-star wrestling in Dundee, he got all the way to the tournament, finally faced the champion John Morrison, but he had knee problems in that match. I think ultimately that cost him a chance to become the champion, but he has got himself in amazing shape. He has sorted out the injuries. They have healed up because of a reduced schedule that he wrestles these days, and he is looking as razor sharp, as precise as ever before.
But not as sharp as those elbows that are going to the head of Zach Gibson. You know, you don't often see Rey Mysterio have an emotional reaction to his opponents, but right there, he was obviously upset with what Zach Gibson said, delivering those elbows to the head.
Oh, what a huge kick to the knee, and it's Zach Gibson who's going to have knee problems right now. This grizzled young veteran, as he calls himself, from McDowell. Oh, how about that for a hammerlock DDT?
And here's the thing, I know, you know, you can get upset about the things that you said, but you cannot deny the technique and the power of Zach Gibson. He really is one of the best wrestlers in the world.
Liverpool has a great tradition of wrestling over the years. The St George's Hall was a fantastic venue for wrestling here in this city. Greats from Merseyside, like Robbie Brookside, who was previously known as Liverpool's #1. But he never gave himself that name like Zach Gibson did, Joe. That other people called him that.
Well, I think that's in line with the way that things are. Zach Gibson feels that he hasn't been given the respect he deserves, so he's going to have to take it. You know, sometimes you need to go out there and you just need to say what you are. You say something enough times and it can become true. And how can you argue? Maybe this young man will go on to be the #1 here in five-star wrestling. Maneuvers like that, who's going to argue, Greg? Are you going to argue? No, you're not.
A big Liverpool Football Club fan, and Zach Gibson clearly walking alone here tonight, because the crowd have gone from being a little bit behind him when he had the microphone to booing him because they're beating up the beloved, the man from San Diego, from the 619 area code.
Why are you mentioning what football team he supports? That's like me going, oh, he's got Desperate Housewives on DVD. Oh, he liked Beavis and Butthead.
Joe, this is the football city. This is Reds versus Blues.
I don't follow football. He completed his Pokédex.
Anyway, we digress. Zach Gibson has got Rey Mysterio outside the ring and using every single inch of his height advantage to dominate, and basically he's trying to back up those big controversial words that we saw on the way to the ring here tonight. Oh, and he's going after the arm now of Rey Mysterio. And, you know, some people might think, well, if Rey Mysterio's got a history of bad knees, why is Zach Gibson not going after the legs? It's very simple. Zach Gibson's finishing move is the Shankly Gates armbar, named after the late, great Liverpool football manager, Bill Shankly.
And just to put that into context, what you're saying, Greg, is that the more damage that he applies to the arm now, the easier it's going to be for him to finish Rey Mysterio with the submission. Can you imagine the statement that would make if he could make Rey Mysterio tap out here on British soil?
Oh,
I'm going to tell you now what I admire about Zach Gibson. You know, despite what he said, calling people dweebs and all that, what I respect about him is he is not fazed by the fact that he's in there with Rey Mysterio. Look how cool, calm and collected and methodical he is right now. It doesn't matter who he's wrestling. It could be the biggest name in the world, and Rey Mysterio is one of them. It will not affect his elite performance. And you know, that kind of brings me to my next point, is the overall standard of wrestling. The standard of competitor that we're seeing here in 5-star wrestling on TV once again live. Greg, you know, we get caught up in the action, but every so often we have to take a step back and realise the significance of what is going on right now. We have got one of the best British wrestlers on the scene right now.
So I have to cut you off there, Joe. I hope you don't mind on this occasion, because we nearly scored a pinfall there, Zach Gibson. And once again, he's got Rey Mysterio backed in the corner. Yeah, you can absolutely. Zach Gibson has got all the talent in the world, but he's 27 years old and he's already bitter, you know. And to me, he's just seething at the attention that Rey Mysterio is getting. And let me tell you something. Let me make this absolutely clear, okay? Yeah, all right. 6.1 million people watched the clip of Rey Mysterio at the weekend in the Rumble. But on that same day, Zach Gibson is in the Liverpool Echo. It's got a massive article in the Liverpool Echo, and they were talking about him. Return of the Zack. That was the headline. He didn't mention Rey Mysterio. He conveniently doesn't mention that. Again, it's selective, the stuff that Zach Gibson talks about. This is the point I'm making.
I think in the wrestling business, there's a history of it. You think about the top competitors in professional wrestling. At one time or another, they've all had to stand up and they've needed to take the bull by the horns. So, okay, maybe some of his comments were over the top, but you can't fault Zach Gibson for, you know, taking a stand.
We've got youngsters wearing their replica Rey Mysterio mask, jumping up and down, excited in the anticipation of the 619, cut off by a boot from the trouble-causing Scouser.
Rey Mysterio was seen clutching his wrist there. I think the damage might be starting to mount up.
Gibson keeping the high flyer grounded. Well-placed forearm into the shoulder blades, and there we go. We see the kind of technical British wrestling that we used to see back in the day when British wrestling was on television. They used to say everything stops at 4 o'clock. From now on Thursday nights, people, everything's going to stop at 7 p.m.
Well, surely it'll start at 7 p.m.
Well, the whole of the country will stop and they'll settle down in front of the television and they'll watch 5-star wrestling on Free Sports.
Don't worry, people, I'll keep you right there.
With action like this is the place to be. Zach Gibson should realise this is the place to be. Instead, biting the hand that feeds him. And he might not be biting at all if Rey Mysterio can make a comeback here, but no. Lawn darts the luchador face first into the top turnbuckle, misses the dive into the corner, and he cracked his shoulder. He cracked that.
He what? Sorry, I'll take over from here, Greg. I'll take over from here. You just chill out for a second. You just chill out for a second. What I will say is, did you see the speed of Rey Mysterio? That's one thing that I've noticed, is that he actually, to me, looks faster than the last time that we saw him. His condition has improved. The way he just got out there with his cat-like reflexes, now he's on the top rope.
Seated senton off the top from Mysterio. This is the trademark attacking series of moves.
And he hits the Bulldog.
The wheelbarrow Bulldog. Zach Gibson now is very much on the run in his home city, in the venue, in front of his family, in front of his friends, and there's not that many of them here because they're very much in the minority to the Mysterio fans. Hooks the leg, 1, 2, 3, no!
Liverpool fans are just in awe here at what they are seeing. It's a clash of styles, but it is working. This is great TV, Greg. I mean, what I will say is, you notice Rey Mysterio is delivering those kicks to the leg, and those are mounting as well. Perhaps he can use that to maneuver the legs and get him down in the position he needs to for that patented 619. Oh, not if he takes a facebuster like that.
No, he just pancaked Rey Mysterio right there, and he's trying to set that Shankly Gates up. And they're slammed shut by Rey Mysterio. Code breaker. Chance for Gibson. This is his moment.
Could this be it?
Oh, it's not his moment. It's not, because Rey Mysterio stays alive.
And now you can see the frustration build up on the face of Zach Gibson. He is pleading with the referee. He is wondering, what does he have to do to really take him to the next level? Because can you really say that Zach Gibson isn't in that top echelon of talent if he can put away Rey Mysterio? If he can put away Rey Mysterio, Zach Gibson is right up there with anybody in the world. We know he's got the skills, we know he's got the talent, but can he get it done tonight?
I would say he's right up there in the upper echelon right now, but the issue is he says he's soon to be recognised as five-star wrestling's #1, as the world's #1. He's got to beat Rey Mysterio to prove that boast correct. Wait just a second. Setting him up for some kind of modified suplex. Mysterio once again. That elusiveness. Gibson head first with the DDT.
That's got to be it.
Chris Roberts
2
makes the count, and Gibson, gotta give him credit.
Absolutely. Now you got to think Zach Gibson's going to be in rough shape after that one. That was a spiked DDT straight on his head.
Well, there's been no preferential treatment for anyone in this match, Joe, despite what Zach Gibson reckons. This has been a great, straight-down-the-line wrestling match.
And here we go! Could we see the 619 delivered by Rey Mysterio? Here we go.
He's setting up for it.
Zach Gibson catches the legs. What is he going to do with it?
Once again, drops Mysterio face first.
He's going for the Shankly Gates there. 2 kicks to the head.
Mysterio once again, that innovative attacking manoeuvre as he sets Zach Gibson up. Here comes his trademark, dialing up Liverpool!
He hits it as the 619, the Liverpool Echo Arena.
619 in the 0151. On the banks of the Mersey. Rey Mysterio jumping off the top rope, but Gibson booting him in the...
Oh my... Is that...
That's an automatic disqualification for an extremely low kick.
Well, there we go.
Gibson, therefore your winner, Rey Mysterio!
I'm so disappointed. What a match. That was straight down the middle. A fantastic contest. Gibson was hanging with Rey Mysterio, but he was on the verge, for me, of losing, and he's taken the cheap way out, and I can't believe he would do that.
I don't know why Zach Gibson felt he needed to do that, but here's the thing. He may have failed in winning the match, but he succeeded in making a statement. For him, it wasn't about W's and L's in the column. It was about taking out a legend. And Zach Gibson wants to be sure that he is left standing.
Well, he made some very controversial comments, and for me, he didn't back them up. And I can't believe in front of his family, in front of his friends, in front of the school pals from McGull who've come to see him, that Zach Gibson would end the match in that way. For what?
I mean, he claims that he's soon to be #1, but what will 5-Star Wrestling management do in retaliation? Because we just can't have this, Greg.
Well, we'll be back with 5-Star Wrestling very soon. And we are back live at the Liverpool Echo Arena. Five-star wrestler. Wait a second. What's that?
Who was that? Why do you have a gas mask? Have you been farting again? Is that why you have the gas mask?
It's not on there. I don't know what's going on. There's been all kinds of things going on tonight. And I mean, we saw before the break, Zach Gibson really letting everybody down, really. Letting the side down, letting Liverpool down. He's the ambassador of British wrestling, and he booted Rey Mysterio. I apologise.
In the you-know-what.
In the you-know-what.
That was disappointing.
That was disappointing, yeah.
It was disappointing, because did Zach Gibson need to do that? I'm not sure that he did. This was his chance to prove that British wrestling is right up there with anyone in the world. And Rey Mysterio is one of the biggest names in the world. And I respect Zach Gibson for standing up to him, but I don't respect that kick to the ghoulies.
Well, I'm sure that Zach Gibson, he has got a lot to say. He'll justify it in some way. And I guess you'll have to see what happens as we move forward week by week here on 5-Star Wrestling Live on Free Sports. And coming up next, we've got our second semi-final in the 5-Star Tag Team Championship. You know, that's going to be an incredible matchup, because Max Money...
They're already in the final.
Winners.
They're already in the final. They have a week to recover. They're chilling out right now. They're celebrating, get ready for next week. We're about to find out who they're going to be facing to become the first ever 5-Star Tag Team Champions, Greg.
Yep, absolutely. And we're going to go to Steve Linsky in the ring.
Well, I like Steve.
The following is a semi-final match for the Tag Team Tournament. Set for one fall. Introducing first, making their way to the
here we go.
The tag team combination of Dirty Flash and El Ligero.
I've been looking forward to this one.
Me too.
We're talking about history being made. This is a historic moment. The Phoenix and the UK Luchador, the Mexican sensation, teaming up on British television. This really makes my heart glad. It does.
Absolutely. I remember being 14, 15 years old, watching on TV as Jody Flash was doing flips of things, and I was captivated then, and I was captivated right now. Also, El Ligero, one of the true veterans of British wrestling. He is one of the best on the scene. This is a formidable team. I could see them going a long way here in 5-Star Wrestling.
Well, you may have watched Jody Flash back in the day on television, but it wasn't live, was it, Joe?
It wasn't live. Is it today? It is.
I think you'll find it is. I'll just pinch myself. Yeah, that hurt. It's live. Speaking of hurt, here come two men who are in the hurt business.
Ladies and gentlemen, making their way to the ring, they are the tag team combination of Big Grizzly and Dave Mastiff.
I like to call them Warbeard. It just sounds Game of Thrones to me, and just look at the two of them.
It does, and I mean, we must be talking about this is the best part of 1,000 pounds walking down to the ring right now. I mean, this is going to be a true contrast of styles. How will guys the size of Jody Flash and El Ligero take on these two absolute monsters? I'll tell you what, though, Dave Mastiff, he can do some pretty amazing things in that ring as well. He's agile as well, and Big Grizzly's no slouch either. He's extremely explosive.
He's an angry young Welshman, and his mentor there, Dave Mastiff, the bruiser from the Black Country, formerly known as Dave Morales when he started out his wrestling career 16 years ago, and he has immense respect in the dressing rooms around the country on the UK wrestling scene. But you talk about respect, the man who paved the way for the revival of British wrestling, we talked about it years ago, the Phoenix Jody Flash, the greatest, for me, pound for pound high flyer in British wrestling of the past 20 years. And when Jody a young Jody stepped away from wrestling about 10 years ago. It was El Ligero, for me, who picked up the mantle as a high flyer on the UK circuit.
Absolutely, and here they are tagging together, and again, it's the same thing that we saw with Rey Mysterio. If you look at Jody Fleisch, he's in better shape than we've ever seen him before. He's showed no signs of slowing down despite that break, and he's here to represent British wrestling once again with El Ligero!
The Mexican sensation taking flight.
And the crowd getting right behind El Ligero and Jody Fleisch.
It's quite interesting, really, that we talked about Jody Fleisch. You know, he won a huge tournament on TV back in 2002 called the King of England. And presented with a medal after that by the great UK wrestling legend, the Dynamite Kid. El Ligero started his wrestling career in that very year, as did Dave Mastiff. Big Grizzly, more of a newcomer. But this guy's a fast learner. He has quickly made a reputation for himself, this angry young Welshman. And showing the power.
Oh my goodness. And I'll tell you what, sometimes years of experience can never match up against the pounds that you weigh.
Trained by the likes of Mark Andrews, wild-born Mike Hitchman. There's a great wrestling scene in Wales at the moment. But we talk about wrestling scenes in the Midlands at the moment. It is absolutely thriving. You know, I'll just reel off a few names for you, as well as Dave Mastiff, Rockstar Spud, or I guess we're not calling him that anymore. Trent Seven, Pete Dunne, Ashton Smith, Tyler Bates, and Mastiff. He is the founding father for me of the modern day Midlands wrestling scene.
Let's be honest, Greg, the British wrestling scene is as good as any scene in the entire world. You know, it used to be a destination wrestler would say, I want to go to Mexico, I want to go to Japan, I want to go to America, I want to go to Canada, but now British wrestling is right at the top of that list. It's because of people like, well, every single one of these guys in the ring right now. And that's what I love personally about 5-star wrestling. That's what I love, is the fact we get the biggest household names and the best of British wrestling talent, who after tonight will be household names.
Big Grizzly with a big body slam. Huge boot for Big Bad Dave. Oh, and that's uncalled for. Riling up Jody Fleisch. And you mentioned before about how he's not lost a step, and yet in the best physical shape of his life for live television. And that's probably because he works as a personal trainer outside the professional ring. And yeah, absolutely. He's been hammering the circuit training, he's been hammering the weights, and he hasn't lost any of that acrobatic ability that I remember at times.
You should book a few sessions, Greg.
Well, stop going on about that.
Sorry, I'm a body shaming.
Exactly.
No, you're right enough, Greg.
That's quite hurtful.
I know. Apologies, folks.
Let's talk about Jody Fleisch.
Yeah.
You don't really mean it, sorry, do you?
You said mental earlier, that's worse.
I said mentor.
Oh, right, whoops. Oh. Making me look bad. But anyway, back to the action, guys. Stop distracting me.
I was talking about how Jody Fleisch, I remember when he was a young man, 21 years of age, what a fearless high flyer he was. Just to jump off balconies on top of it. It was crazy. I wouldn't put that past him, even now. And El Ligero, this is a guy who's one of the hardest working wrestlers anywhere. This is a man who routinely wrestles 300 to 400 matches a year. And I tell you what, Jody Fleisch has slipped off the top rope, but he still landed the knee. That's balance for you.
Now, am I right in saying, I'm pretty sure that, I think it might be 2017, El Ligero wrestled more matches than any other wrestler. And look at that nip-up and the agility from Jody Fleisch with a perfectly placed high kick.
Absolutely, it's very much the quintessential contest of power versus speed right here in our second semi-final in the 5-star Tag Team Championship. Grizzly has got Jody Fleisch by the waist and he drops him with a release German suplex.
He deadlifted him in mid-air there. That's impressive.
And this protege of Mastiff, I think, has very much learned from his uncompromising ways.
Well, I'd have to agree. I mean, that's the thing again. It was simple and it was effective. He just simply grabbed his opponent and just threw him into next week.
He's a raw and untamed talent, is Big Grizzly. And at the moment, he is taking Jody Fleisch back to his cave.
Looks like he's going to break his damn neck on TV. I don't know if we can even show this.
El Ligero getting the fans of Liverpool right behind. both himself and the Phoenix, this team of high-flying UK wrestling legends. Very much staying in this right now, but once again, the bigger men cutting the ring off. The tag is made. Mastiff and Grizzly have Jody Fleisch trapped.
Now let's explain it one more time for the viewers at home. What they're doing here is it's easier to win a match against one person than two people. So now they've picked their victim in Jody Fleisch, and they're going to try to isolate him from his tag team partner, who's trying to get back into the game by any means necessary. But the referee is sending El Ligero to... Oh, and Dave Mastiff didn't like that at all. And Grizzly slyly comes into the ring. The referee hasn't noticed. Oh! He's grabbing that chain around the neck of Jody Fleisch. This just isn't fair, Greg. It's not fair. And the crowd do not like it.
I think Jody takes a huge risk wearing that chain to the ring, but you know, it's something that he's always done during his wrestling career. I don't know whether it's a fashion statement or whether it has sentimental value, but it is very much there to be attacked. Jody Fleisch still finding a way to make it work for him. Oh, Grizzly, oh, goodness me.
Oh my goodness, turned him inside out with that huge clothesline. Going for the cover. This surely has to be a 1, 2, and oh my goodness. Jody Fleisch survives that counter.
Reminds me a little bit of some of the great British wrestlers of the past. You know, the guy like, you know, let's talk about names like Cyanide Sid Cooper, a guy who came over to Britain and did very well in the UK.
And again, that's the agility of Jody Fleisch there. He's taking out Mastiff, he's going to the top rope. Could this be the opportunity he needs to tag in El Ligero? That's what's going to bring him back in the matchup, and it looks like that's the case with a huge crossbody off the top. And the crowd are getting right behind Jody Fleisch and El Ligero. They want to see the tag, they want to see the masked man back in the ring, and it looks like they're going to get it. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for El Ligero, or El Ligero, should I say.
Grizzly looks tired to me. Carrying the extra weight around is maybe the tank is becoming empty on the big guy.
He's going to make the tag. Oh!
Oh, Mastiff, oh goodness me. Ligero, did Ligero crack his head on the ring apron?
Oh, that was nasty. That was nasty. I don't care how much mask he's got on there. That was right to the bridge of the nose.
Oh. Grizzly comes running in like a locomotive, flattening Jody Fleisch as a huge short clothesline. 2, no, not quite. Well, the methodical and power-based style of Mastiff and Grizzly proving extremely effective.
And again, I don't know if the referee can see it, but they're using that chain there every now and then, which is naughty. Oh, now he's just going to the face.
Yeah,
referee.
Come on, Andre, you've got to get in there.
And that's the thing, he is a young referee, but he's going to need to learn to stand up to Dave Mastiff. I mean, can you blame him, really? Look at the size of him.
The impact on that back suplex was shuddering.
2.
Oh, but Jody Fleisch, the conditioning coming into play, all those hours spent in the gym, training others and training himself, paying dividends right now. Ligero has recovered, but good to say, I was very concerned that Ligero maybe injured himself, but Mastiff is just showing...
He just put a giant bogey on him. That was disgusting. And he's picking him up by the chin. Referee! He's choking him!
Not exactly a role model for the youngsters watching.
No.
And I mean, again, we talk about it, it's an interesting point, you know. Is it using an object, or is it basically part of Jody Fleisch's ring attire?
Jody Fleisch probably isn't helping himself by having that on, but who knows, maybe it gives him that inner strength, and hopefully it's going to give him some inner strength to get out of this situation, because if this continues, this is methodical, and it's going to be clear who's going to be walking out here going into that tag team tournament final. This could be it right here. 1, 2...
It certainly could. Oh, it's not, though. It's absolutely not, because Jody Fleisch has got stickability. This is a guy who I have known for years has got heart, he has got spirit, and he can take a beating, but keep in there and come back stronger.
The referee might have to step in at some point here. This is just because the chain's broken, which may even work in Jody's favour, but if Grizzly's going to the top rope here, if he can hit something from there, it's not looking good for Fleisch. But Fleisch jumps all the way to the top rope and just catches a massive Hurricane Rana, or Frankensteiner, if you will, from the top rope. El Ligeiro's looking to tag himself in. Will he finally make it? Is El Ligero going to get back in to this matchup here on 5-Star Wrestling?
Indeed he is. I finally remembered the guy who came over from overseas, who Big Grizzly reminds me of, the mighty
Jimmy. He's going to make the tag.
But I tell you who's mighty at the moment. Jody Fleisch
made the tag.
And El Ligero are looking mighty fine right now. Huge series of shots from El Ligero, this plucky underdog from Los Sancho, Mexico, who came over to make his home in Leeds many years ago, an adopted son of the British Isles.
Oh my goodness!
What is that?
That is an amazing tag team maneuver right there. That's why these guys are veterans. That was unbelievable. German suplexing his own tag team partner into a moonsault. That's how you take out bigger guys and use their weight against each other. El Ligero is on fire right now.
He absolutely is. There goes the...
Oh my God!
Cobra Ligero's got the bigger man off his feet. The 22-stone Mastiff landed right on the back of his head. And this is where the conditioning, this is where all those hours doing the road work, doing the cardio is paying dividends for the smaller men.
Jody Fleisch is back in. What have they got in mind here?
Wait a second. Jody Fleisch with the Phoenix DDT, is it? No, Mastiff blocked it. Ligero off the top. This is the clothesline. Oh, Mastiff can't possibly suplex the...
Oh my goodness!
That was impressive.
Well, one moment you see them using a German suplex purposefully against their opponents, and then it just gets used right on their back.
Grizzly going for the choke slam. Sit out style. Could this be the end for Jody Fleisch? He's kicked out of everything. Oh, his partner saved him. El Ligero making the save.
El Ligero just saving that matchup, but he's been thrown to the outside. Surely this is fundamental now. The two have just taken too much damage. They've had an amazing effort, Greg, but now it just looks like it's all a bit too much.
Absolutely.
Dave Mastiff back in the ring. Looks like they've got a double team maneuver in mind here. They're going to send him to the outside. Fleisch holds onto the ropes. Grizzly runs in, low bridges them over the top. It's now just Fleisch and Mastiff. Huge forearm to the face. And Ligero's back in.
Jody Fleisch now, this is where he excels. Who's he going to go for? Is he going to go for Mastiff in the ring? Oh, Grizzly outside
my
the ring!
Goodness!
What a moonsault off the top! Mastiff is left isolated for the C4L! The springboard DDT that El Ligero is calling to Jody Fleisch. Mastiff is stunned. Jody's going to go for the Phoenix DDT, his own springboard DDT, and he planted Mastiff. Dropped on his head twice, and that's enough.
Unbelievable contest. Can you imagine what that must have taken? The inner strength to beat these huge athletes. There's some amazing teamwork as well that we saw from El Ligero and Jody Fleisch, who are now advancing to the finals of the 5-Star Wrestling Tag Team Tournament to take on, who else, Greg? Max Money. I can't wait for that next week.
I'm almost out of breath because of the action that we've had this evening. We've given you everything that there possibly is to give you on the British wrestling scene in the 21st century. We saw some moves there that defied description, that defied gravity. And Jody Fleisch and El Ligero, I talked about them being a bit of a UK dream team. Well, the dream is alive. The dream of them being the 5-Star Tag Team Champions.
That's great music as well, Greg. That is great entrance music. I'm loving it.
So the final, and it's happening next week in Newcastle. On Free Sports, Max Money versus Fleisch and Ligero to find out who are the first ever 5-Star Tag Team Champs. Don't forget, everybody watching, still to come tonight, we've got Our second big main event. We've already crowned the Tap or Snap champion. We're going to find out who the 5-star champion is. And Morrison defends against Van Dam. Live, 5-star wrestling continues. We hope that you are enjoying our historic broadcast here tonight, the first in the brand new weekly live television wrestling series here from Great Britain. 5-star wrestling live on Free Sports. We have seen so much this evening, and we've just seen before the break, Joe Hendry, the finalists determined in the 5-star Tag Team Championship.
Absolutely. We're going to see Max Money, who impressed me earlier, by the way, because they overcame those veterans. So we got Max Money with Charlie Sterling and Adam Maxted, and they're going to be going up against next week against El Ligero and Jody Fleisch, who did an amazing job of overcoming those two giants in Dave Mastiff and Big Grizzly.
Another great match. We've had so many of them here this evening, and we're going to go back to the replay to see exactly what happened and how these two high-flying UK legends took down the Bruisers, and how particularly they dropped the Black Country Beast, Dave Mastiff. The Phoenix DDT from Jody Fleisch was enough. And Fleisch and Ligero, the guys who paved the way in the modern-day British wrestling scene for this comeback to television, for me anyway. Two not quite generations, but two guys who basically were back-to-back in the history of recent time British wrestling. They're going to be the tag team champions, potentially, if they can get past Maxted and Sterling.
Now, Greg, can I just get this straight, right? So, tonight we already crowned a new Tapper Snap champion, but you're telling me right now, Greg, you're telling me that next week we're going to crown the first ever 5-star tag team champions.
It's going to happen in Newcastle. It certainly is.
Oh, here we
it's going to happen. We'll just check that bracket just to absolutely confirm it. It's going to be Max Money, the reality television star, and his worth every pound pal, taking on the Phoenix and the Mexican sensation in Newcastle next week, live on Free Sports at the Metro Radio Arena. And what's more, Joe? What's more, Jake Hager, we've been getting the word backstage that the match is going to be made. Jake Hager is going to face the winner of tonight's main event.
That is a huge main event. You heard it here first. Jake Hager, who defeated, let's be honest, by questionable means, he's going to be going up and challenging for the championship.
Absolutely. So that's still to come. John Morrison versus Rob Van Dam. Wait a second. Just getting word that... is that right? There's something going on in the backstage area.
Some sort of disturbance.
Number two, what?
Room number 2.
Number 2, sir!
Number 2, sir.
Right, come on! Do it when you be dafty, come on! Number 2, what's that? Number 2, is that changing room 2 or is that? Hey, look, you can't be right, wait, you don't want to get hurt here. I've got this, number 2. Number 2. Wait, no, there's number 1. Right, stand back, hey, wee man, I don't want you getting hurt here. Stand back, this is number 2 here, right? I've got this is grown-up stuff, alright?
Stand back, civilians.
Alright, here we go. Right, you got it. Think it's going to hurt?
No, it's the X-ray foot. And bang!
Foot, shoulder.
Okay.
Come on in, oh, Jesus! Oh, mate! Oh, yeah! Oh, yeah! No, don't, it's stupid, it's a stupid idea! It's oh, damn! No, I don't want to phone.
Where are you staying? What about you on me? You tell me, be here, Echo Arena, Thursday. I'm on the shows. I told you. Both of you tell me.
I told you to be here.
You and you told me. I've been on the road.
2 minutes. You alright?
I don't know. I've been on the road.
We were kidding you on. We were noising you up, mate.
What do you mean you're kidding me there from the gallery?
I'm kidding you on, we were. Kidding you on.
Hey, Gordon.
Yeah, why try and get that door down for us? We're having an issue here. I'm out of breath.
That door?
Yeah, I'm knackered. I just try and get it down. Get it open. Get the door open. Come on, big man. Yeah. What were you doing? You trying to be funny?
No, what?
Oh. What?
There was...
You having a laugh, Specky? I tell all sorts of fights I was going to have. Let's go to the next school. You get us up there. Let's go in there. The main event's starting soon. And I've not even got my letter. My leotard is still in my bag. If I go, Doheed. Right, I'm going to ask you one question. You've got one chance to be honest here. Is it because we've not got a tag team then? Is it?
Sure.
Oh. Do it. That was your fault. Next week. Yeah, next week we'll be at Newcastle. Newcastle next week, tag team. Alright. Whoever gets the belts, tell them whoever's got them now, tell them we're coming, alright? Right, yeah, let's go. Big man. You coming, big stuff? You're listening.
Oh, I'm coming, I'm coming. Oh!
Now we say don't try this at home for a reason. And did you see the way that Looking Sharp smashed off that door there? That's going to give me nightmares for weeks. That's taken about 10 years off his career.
Joe, did you understand a word of that?
I did. I can translate. I don't think you deserve to know what they're saying, Greg. Just trust me. They were saying nice things.
Well, there's two things we learned there. We learned that Luking Sharp and Kid Fight from Glasgow didn't have a match tonight, but it looks like they were going to be part of the tag team division going forward if they can come up with a tag team name. And the second thing we've learned was Zach Gibson was absolutely right about 5-star wrestling management, because that guy looks like a bit of a dweeb.
Oh, don't use the D word again. We need to get some more security backstage to stop those things happening. But again, just to go on what you were saying there about Zach Gibson, do you remember when he kicked Rey Mysterio in the you-know-whats? I thought that was entirely unacceptable. I was enjoying the match up to that point. We were seeing the best of Britain versus, you know, one of the biggest names in professional... Hush up! Hush the heck up! All of you's behind me, distracting
Don't be
me
disrespectful
when I'm
to the Rey Mysterio fans. You're worse than Zach Gibson, you are. I mean, that's already happened tonight. Rey Mysterio versus Zach Gibson. Mysterio winning by disqualification, but Gibson cheated, basically. And Jake Hager will scoring a win through nefarious means. We've seen some amazing action as well. We saw Rampage Brown defeat Moose. We saw the first Tap or Snap champion crowned in Mark Haskins. And we also saw Jody Fleisch and El Ligero in a brilliant match.
You know what else we saw? You know what else we saw? Give me 5. Ha!
You are absolutely insufferable. You really are, Joe. But coming up after our next break, it is going to be the icing on the cake for 5-Star Wrestling Live on Free Sports debut at Liverpool Echo Arena. It's a dream match.
In all seriousness, Greg, it doesn't get any bigger than this, does it? This is the dream match for any company, any card in the world. It's 5-Star Wrestling!
It's going to be John Morrison, the 5-Star champion. He's beaten all comers. Can he beat the whole damn show? Am I allowed to say damn?
I like it, Greg. I like it.
We are back. 5 Star Wrestling live on Free Sports. It's been an incredible night. I've thoroughly enjoyed calling the matches here with Joe Hendry in the Liverpool Echo Arena. Quite an emotional night for myself, having been involved in the struggle to get British wrestling back to where it belongs for quite a long period of time. And Joe, I know you're very passionate about British wrestling as well, and it's just been an amazing evening for everybody concerned.
Absolutely. I mean, just think about the way that we kicked off this program. We crowned our first ever Tapper Snap champion with 5 of the biggest up-and-coming talents from around the world. It was unbelievable. But tonight, it's been about the big names, but also the British wrestling talent has really shone through. Except for Zach Gibson, though. He was doing an amazing job, but then he kicked Rey Mysterio when it really hurts. He didn't win the match, but he made a statement.
And if there is a Britain v America thing going on, it's been pretty even, to be honest with you. I mean, there's some big wins early on for the Brits, but then some wins later on for the Americans. But let me tell you what, coming up, it's going to be 2 Americans clashing, 2 of the very best there's been over the past 15, 20 years. 2 great high flyers, 2 very cool personalities fighting for the title. It's going to be great. Let's go to Steve Linsky.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I would like for you to welcome to the commentary team, Liverpool's #1, Zach Gibson.
Hang on a minute.
What?
Did you know about this?
I did not. Hasn't he already done enough tonight?
We've had people turning up in the crowd who weren't meant to be here, and we've had a guy outside the arena who wasn't meant to be here, and now we've got another guy who's not meant to be here.
That's the thing, Greg, is live TV. Anything can and will happen, and that's happening right now because Zach Gibson is back out here. He must have been slapping about some people in the truck, telling them to play his music again with that entrance that he's coming out. Maybe he's got something else to say, or he looks like he's looking in our direction.
I mean, is he not happy with the pyro? I mean, surely that's the kind of thing that a star gets.
Oh, he's coming, yeah, have a seat. Fair enough, Zach Gibson seems like he's going to join us on the commentary table.
Liverpool's #1 is here, and I didn't know anything about this. Zach Gibson, to place the headphones on and give us the benefit of his wisdom.
Is this me? Am I on? Am I on? Testing.
Yeah, I can hear you, Zach. I can hear you.
I can hear you as
Can
well.
I just tell you, Zach, he's been slagging you off since you kicked Rey Mysterio in the you-know-where, and I was like, he deserved it. I was saying, you did the right thing. You did the right thing.
I've always liked you, Joe. I've always liked you.
Him though.
Let's be fair. I mean, Zach, you talked a great game coming out. I'm not going to say I agree with everything you said,
Greg,
but
shut up.
Greg.
Why take the easy way out? Why get yourself disqualified? Why rob the fans of a clean
there
finish?
Are however many people watching at home now, wishing, praying, tweeting, texting all their mates, just hoping that for 1 second you would just shut up and let the talent speak about what is in front of them.
Well, I'm hoping that's not true.
It is true, yeah.
Well, anyway, okay, you're very welcome to be here.
Zach, I want to hear more from you. I've heard enough from Greg all night. I want to hear from you, Zach. What's going through your mind?
Basically, I came here to use Rey Mysterio as a stepping stone, to step up, to take my career further, and to put me higher up in this industry. Now, you tell me, Greg, did I achieve what I said I was going to do?
Well, I thought
yes,
you were
I did.
doing.
Yes, I did. Rey Mysterio finished that match lying on his back, looking up at these expensive lights, whilst I walked out with my head held high. I run this show. The Brits run this show.
It's one way of looking at it. We're going to go for the main event. We're going to go to Steve Linsky. We're going to introduce the challenger.
The following is a singles match set for 1 fall. And it is for the 5 Star Wrestling Championship. Introducing first, ladies and gentlemen, the challenger making his way to the ring from Battle Creek, Michigan, this is Rob Van Dam!
So here he is from Battle Creek, Michigan. The master of the 5-star frog splash, the extreme icon.
And the crowd absolutely love it. They are right behind Rob Van Dam. And as we said earlier, it just does not get bigger than this when it comes to main events. But Zach, I want to know your opinion. I'm going to hazard a guess here that you're probably not pleased there's 2 Americans in the main event here. How do you feel about that?
British wrestling back on television, and lo and behold, the main event is 2 Yanks coming over for an easy payday. Rob Van Dam, I'm not trying to take away from them. Rob Van Dam, he's done a lot in this business. It's time for him to move over and let the Brits take our spot, take the spot that we have earned, take the spot that we have built. We have built this industry up to a point where we can go back on live television and the Yanks swoop in and take the top spot.
You see, I agree with you on that. I believe I'm actually absolutely right in saying that British wrestling deserves to be on top, but to me it's not Rob Van Dam's fault, it's not John Morrison's fault they're in the main event, they're just really good.
Enough, Greg, enough. Have you got the action figures as well? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I've seen them. I've seen his action figures. He's got all of them, Zach. He's got every one of them. He's got an action figure room.
Here's the champion.
And look at that shiny new beautiful belt that he's holding. It is the 5-star championship. And look at the condition of John Morrison making his way to the ring. Just burnt his hand on the sparks there. But look at the weight, look at that belt sitting there. Just nice. The lights just dancing off it, just nice.
It was almost exactly 2 years ago that John Morrison defeated AJ Styles in Newcastle, where of course we're going next week. And he could be defending that championship if he beats Rob Van Dam tonight in Newcastle against Jake Hager. I mean, what are your thoughts on that, Zach?
Do you really want to get me started again? Is that really what you're looking to do here? I'm not trying to take away from the talent like John Morrison. I'm not trying to take away from the talent like Jake Hager. What I am trying to say is that this country has the best talent. This country has the talent that should be main eventing these shows up and down. You're going to see why. Because if you compare these guys who come over here for an easy payday, who come over here to cash in for a quick cash grab, and you compare them to the hungry British talent like myself coming up, you will see the vast difference. The vast difference in how much people care and how much the talent care. That should be me stood on those ropes, holding that belt up. And I can tell you right now, 5-star management are already playing with their action figures, setting up the next big American clash.
So you'd be quite happy with, say, Rampage Brown getting a title shot?
Of course I would. Rampage Brown, one of the very best boots and trunks wrestlers that has ever existed. And he's here today. He could have been in this match. He could have replaced any one of these 2.
Well, he beat Moose. You know, absolutely. Rampage Brown has got credentials as well. But you can't say that Rob Van Dam doesn't. 28 years a professional wrestler. And some of the amazing matches this martial arts, this high flyer has had over the years with the likes of the homicidal, genocidal, death-defying Sabu, Jerry Lynn, what a series he had with him, Jeff Hardy. You know, Rob Van Dam has got those credentials. And John Morrison, you can't argue with the record of a guy who's beaten AJ Styles to win the title, beaten Carlito, beaten PJ Black, beaten Moose, Drew Galloway and Rey Mysterio all in one night. I mean, he's made 5 successful defences of the championship.
Why don't you go and get an autograph afterwards with the rest of the 5-star management?
Line up and
Listen,
get an autograph.
It's my job to, you know, explain why these guys are in the main event. You're saying they're not worthy. I've just got to, you know, give the viewing audience the information about them. So John Morrison from Los Angeles, California, calls himself the Shaman of Sexy, the Thursday night guy delight, I guess.
He gets kicked out.
Shaman?
No, can't say.
And we talk about the unique hybrid flying style of RVD. Morrison with his pastime of parkour, which requires free running, which requires such great agility and balance. He's a guy who hits some of the unique flying moves himself.
I think we can be fair here, Zach. I get what you're saying. 100% agree, but we have to just take a second to appreciate the physical condition that these guys are in. They're going to be tough competitors if you ever get a chance to challenge for the 5-star championship. Don't you think, Zach?
I don't doubt that at all. These are two of the best in the world. That's why we've brought them in. That's why the management have brought them in. The point is that they should not be hogging the top spots. These fans may have came here today to watch these two, but they will be leaving wearing my T-shirt.
There you go. Can't argue with that. Are you going to argue with that, Greg?
No, he's certainly made an impact with what he said and what he's done. But Zach, you know, I have to ask you the tough question. I'll ask you again. Why did you kick Rey Mysterio low?
Greg, there's a match going on right in front of you. I think you need to focus on this.
I know. You know what? I'll help you out, Greg. You just take a breather. I'll call some of the action here. For God's sakes, Greg. Jeez. Anyway, we are live here in the Liverpool Echo Arena. We are at 5-star wrestling. This is a huge moment for British wrestling. This program here, I'm sitting here with one of the very best in the world, sitting here with Zach Gibson, who had an amazing performance. We don't need to go into details about, you know, how the match ended or anything like that. All we need to know is he made a statement. Zach Gibson made a statement, and he's here at commentary with us, watching Rob Van Dam versus John Morrison for the 5-star Wrestling Championship. Nice headlock takeover from John Morrison. What will Rob Van Dam do in retaliation?
And I think we've got to make the point, you know, for these guys' careers have crossed paths. You know, they have been working for the same companies. They're basically peers, you know, they're from the same kind of time frame, but they never wrestled each other on the big stage. This is the big stage. You've got to agree with that, Zach. Live British wrestling back on television.
Exactly, this is the big stage. This is the big stage, and they'll give the top spot to two Yanks.
Well, RVD showing why with that unique takedown and pinning combination that we've seen him employ on many occasions.
And just to explain to the audience that this is very different from, you know, what we saw earlier in the submission-only rules match with tap or snap. It's not like that. Here, you can become the 5-star champion by quickly rolling up your opponent. A match can be over in 3 seconds, really. And there we saw a very close 2 count already this early in the match. You need to be on top of your game. It takes a special kind of athlete to be the 5-star champion. And both the guys in the ring now would be a great representative for the company. But Zach Gibson feels that role would be better suited to a Brit.
Side headlock takeover by the champion, catching Rob Van Dam unawares and keeping RVD grounded. I think that's pretty much got to be the strategy for both these men.
Sorry, we've got some intern out here interrupting Zach Gibson, but he's trying to say something. Intern, get over here and fix his damn mic. Cut off his mic when he's speaking. Get him fired. Zach, on you go.
As I was saying,
what is that about?
British wrestling used to be the envy of the entire wrestling world because we do it better than anybody else.
Oh, wait a second. Rob Van Dam almost diving on our commentary table.
Nearly knocked over my coffee.
Evasive action from the champion and very effective. Morrison enjoying himself right now. Rob Van Dam certainly isn't.
You're right, Greg. John Morrison is feeling it right now. He has certainly got the momentum in this epic title match right now. And just look, that is, you have to admit, Zach, you have to admit, that's a beautiful belt that they've got right there. Wouldn't you like to be the 5-star champion? Isn't that what it's all about, Zach?
And if I was in this match, I wouldn't be having as much fun as you're commentating on. I would be getting him in the ring, getting the job done, dropping him on the deck, wrapping his arm around his head, locking the Shankly gates and taking that belt home as quick as possible instead of smiling and pandering to the punters.
Well, that's me told, I guess.
The words of Zach Gibson, Liverpool's #1, while he's joined us on commentary after earlier tonight, facing Rey Mysterio in a match that will live long in the memory for many different reasons. And I'm sure a lot of people will be talking about some of the things you said, Zach, before that as well. There'll be a lot of interest in what you said, and people agreeing and disagreeing. But at the moment, John Morrison, wait a second, do not slam RVD on our commentary table.
Oh my goodness, did you hear the thud? Did you hear the thud of Rob Van Dam's back?
Reckless.
He landed on the outside.
Reckless.
Is it effective though?
Slammed him on the hard floor here at the Liverpool Echo Arena.
Listen, Greg, since you know absolutely nothing about what it's like to be in there, let me point out, you can see on the cameras that there are some blue mats there. They are thin and they are covering concrete. You may think that that's a bouncy castle. It is definitely not. That hurts a lot, and that was reckless by the Yank 5-star champ.
Yeah, but isn't that the whole point, is to try and incapacitate Rob Van Dam so he can beat him?
Well, you were the one that had a problem with it 2 seconds ago, Greg. You said don't slam him, and he did, and now you're crying about it.
I didn't want him to slam him on the expensive equipment.
What, the mat? You didn't want to slam him on the mat?
Our monitors, the headsets.
Right, okay. Zach, I apologise.
Morrison's definitely got the advantage right now. Rob Van Dam is in the perfect spot for that huge forearm across the chest. And I guess you know, once again, Zach, you're not enjoying the demeanour of John Morrison. Clearly enjoying his work.
In a title match, your main objective is to win, is to walk away with the title. It's not about having fun. It's not about pandering to the audience. You should be trying to put him away as quick as possible.
Oh. Well, that's one way to do it, with a big knee to the head there on Rob Van Dam.
Referee Chris Roberts moving in for the count. Morrison unable to retain the championship on that particular occasion. Only takes a pinfall or a submission. But Morrison, as the champion as well, he doesn't have to. He doesn't actually have to win the match to retain the title, John.
No, he does not, but I don't think John Morrison plays by those rules. Again, he is, whether to his credit or his detriment, he is here to not just win the match, but to put on a show for the fans as well. I don't think he wants it to be that way. That being said, though, we have seen him adopt more of a methodical style against Rob Van Dam, and thus far it's been incredibly effective.
So no count-outs and disqualifications maybe in this one. John Morrison then going for the cover. Rob Van Dam kicking out at the last possible second. And at the moment, Morrison pretty much getting it all his own way. I think it all stemmed from Van Dam missing that dive and crashing to the floor on the outside.
Though. They are right behind Rob Van Dam right now. Rob Van Dam has been entertaining audiences since the 90s, and now he's here in the main event of 5-star wrestling, and Rob Van Dam could be our next 5-star wrestling champion. With the brace, oh my God, a thunderous kick to the head there, and John Morrison is regrouping in the corner. What is next? What has Rob Van Dam got in mind to try and get the momentum back in his favour?
I mean, that's going to require some flexibility to be able to kick somebody in the head from that standing position out of nowhere and turn the tables in our main event, our co-main event here tonight for the 5-star championship. You're watching Rob Van Dam challenging John Morrison in the first of a weekly series. It's going to be every Thursday night. We're going to be back again next week. I mean, Zach, what have you got in store for the 5-star wrestling fans next week? Can you give us some insight into what your thought processes are right now about this series going forward?
I'm not going to allow the Yanks to steal the spotlight. I'm not going to allow another main event of 2 Americans to run on British wrestling's only TV show. That's what's going to happen. That's what you can expect.
Well, that's a very threatening words. I mean, that's how it sounds. But anyway, let's see what happens right here. I mean, John Morrison.
I mean, Greg, you mentioned earlier about the flexibility of Rob Van Dam. Greg, stop interrupting me. You mentioned earlier about the flexibility of Rob Van Dam. That is a huge part of his game plan. Do you know he even invented the Van Dam lift, where he'll do the splits between 2 chairs and lift immensely heavy weights from that position. He is so flexible. You can see him backstage when he's preparing for the match. That stretching is serving him well now. That's why he was able to get those kicks so high, hit that spinning heel kick in the corner with no effort required.
There's a healthy respect between these two men. I did a Facebook Live on Free Sports before we went on air, on the Free Sports Facebook page, and both the guys were there, and they were kind of laughing and joking, but you know what? They still both want to win. This is a contest. This is about the championship. You know, you win the match, you get more money, and you also move forward with more prestige, and you move forward to the main event next week.
Well, Zach, I want to get your opinion. What do you prefer? Do you prefer when you go into a matchup and you're on kind of, there's an emotionally neutral kind of thing going on, or do you prefer to hate your opponent, or do you not care?
I didn't get into this job to make friends. I don't walk down to the rink to play patter cake or to take selfies with my opponent. I don't care how long I've known anyone. I don't care what country they've come from. I don't care what background they've got. If you put someone in a ring in front of me, I am not going to smile for photos with them and shake their hand. I want to fight them and win.
Well, can't argue with that. And as I said to Greg will back me up on this one, he better. That's what I said earlier. One of the things I respect about you, Zach, is that it doesn't matter who's there. It didn't matter that Rey Mysterio was in front of you. You were still cool, calm and collected because you believe that British wrestling is at the very top of the chain when it comes to professional wrestling. And I think you're on a mission to prove that. Or is it more just an individual thing? You want to be the champ?
I deserve to be the champ. I should be in the ring now. John Morrison is meant to be our champion here, supposedly. And Rob Van Dam's taking it to him, proving why he shouldn't take him so lightly.
Well, I'll tell you what, for two guys who were friends outside the ring, they were punching each other in the face hard enough just a few seconds ago. And what a beautiful Northern Lights suplex from Rob Van Dam, which nearly garnered him the 5-star championship. Either of these guys you prefer to face, Zach?
Either one. You can see them coming out there laughing and joking, patting their hands on the side of the apron. If they take me that lightly, I would have already won this match.
Now, Zach, I will ask the question. The thing is, in the match, I don't want you to get upset. I'm just saying that in the match with Rey Mysterio, you did end the match with a disqualification.
There's a match going on right here. Let's focus on this one.
Okay.
John Morrison has just drove his knee into Rob Van Dam's face. He's done a lovely little dance, but he's dropped a leg drop. And he nearly won the match, and you nearly missed it.
I know.
You're too busy asking me questions.
I apologise, Zach. I'm sorry, I apologise. I just want to know, you won't be able to use the low kick in that match. What would you do against John Morrison or Rob Van Dam?
You don't need to worry yourself about that yet. There's plenty of time left.
Okay, so Rob Van Dam in the corner, reversing John Morrison to the far side. Going in for the monkey flip. Oh! Beautifully executing it, flipping Morrison onto his back, and Morrison having to roll to the corner, realising he was in trouble there. To the sanctity of the ropes. And the crowd is behind RVD. I think they want to see the title change. I think it's taken them a while to pick their favourite in this one, but I think they want to see the title change. Another monkey flip. Morrison on the run.
I don't know if you saw that, Greg, but that second monkey flip was so powerful that actually flipped him onto his front in midair. Oh my, and that one was even more powerful. This could be it right here.
3 in a row. New champion, perhaps? No. Joe Mo kicking out at the last possible second. RVD trying for the cover for the second time, and once again it's not enough. The body weight not enough to hold Morrison down for the 3. Shots to the stomach there. Nearly to the midsection. It's all these Americanisms has got me. It's the stomach, because we are in Britain.
And again, there's that high kick, the flexibility. He can get that right to his opponent's skull. So effective, and here we go.
It's Rolling Thunder. It's one of Van Dam's trademarks, and he delivered it, like, not quite flawlessly. He just got his foot caught in the bottom rope, and that maybe stopped him from following up straight away. But it gave him the idea that it might be time to hit on 5-star wrestling, the 5-star frog splash. No.
That would have been poetic, Greg, if Rob Van Dam could have captured the 5-star wrestling championship. Like you say, with using the 5-star frog splash, but John Morrison had an answer, and now we're going into that high-risk, high-reward territory. What's going to happen in the top rope? It looks like John Morrison wants to go for the superplex. Is Rob Van Dam going to have an answer?
Now, Van Dam's in a very tricky position right now. You can see it from the look on his face, but he's fighting back. And he's showing that heart, and he's showing that fearlessness that we've seen him make a career on off the top. Oh! Rolling somersault dive over the top rope, but
so
that's
close.
Not quite enough to keep down Morrison. Well, as the song says, this ain't no make-believe. This is 5-star wrestling. This is the 5-star championship, and it's John Morrison somehow hanging on by the skin of his teeth against a comebacking Rob Van Dam. And we are very much in the territory now where both men are sweating profusely. Both men, perhaps Van Dam looks the more tired, wouldn't you say, Joe? Oh, hang on a second. Moonlight Drive! One of Morrison's famous moves.
Greg, it's impossible to say who's more tired. It's impossible to say. We don't know, because we're not in the ring right now. Only they know.
Well, we saw Van Dam set up for the 5-star frog splash with Rolling Thunder. John Morrison sets up with the Moonlight Drive. I thought he was going to go for Starship Pain, where he goes for that twisting moonsault, but he's not going to do that.
Wasting his time.
He's up on the top rope.
Wasting his time, and he should be trying to put him away.
He got through. I don't know what that was. He just flipped in midair. I think he just about broke his fall as RVD moved out of the way. A block from the champion. Nails RVD, comes in from behind. Slides through. An innovative suplex from Morrison. I don't think I've ever seen that done that way before.
I know. Now, I tried to be as unbiased as possible, but I think I need to agree with Zach there. I mean, if he hadn't have gone to the crowd there, the match could have been over by now. He could have retained his 5-star championship. I guess we're going to find out one more time. But no, here comes the roll-up from Rob Van Dam.
He's got it. No, he's not.
Typical Yanks, and it nearly cost him. I hope it does the next time.
Huge kick to the skull from John Morrison.
Well, here we go. John Morrison has got Rob Van Dam now. He's placed him. Whether it was by desperation or by design, Rob Van Dam is in the perfect position for John Morrison now to hit something big off the ropes.
You can see the look on their face. They're gutted that it's not the easy payday they were hoping for.
Well, it's definitely been a fight. You talked about a fight. We've definitely seen one. And we've seen a match that we've never seen before on the big stage, and at this stage we're still not sure who is going to come out on top. Rob Van Dam, they're both on the top rope. It's
oh my goodness! Huge superplex from Rob Van Dam to John Morrison. If he can only muster enough strength to get the cover, here we go!
Oh, wait a second, Morrison rolls his weight, and he holds it down.
Oh my goodness!
John Morrison has beaten Rob Van Dam, and he's still the champion.
That's how close it can be. That was razor sharp the movement.
And he's still the champion yet again. And the company is ran by the Yanks because there wasn't even a Brit in the running. I've had enough.
Well, Zach Gibson taking his headset off, but John Morrison, a 6th successful title defence of the 5-star championship. Another major name chalked off on his list of victories. And he has retained the belt on the first week of 5-star wrestling live on Free Sports against a man who will surely, I mean, Zach Gibson has said in interviews about Rey Mysterio, but Rob Van Dam, Rey Mysterio's former tag team partner incidentally, is surely a future Hall of Famer as well.
And Greg, there's obviously got to be that mutual respect between these two athletes, because look at what they just went through. Rob Van Dam respecting what John Morrison has done to retain the 5-star championship. That was razor close with Rob Van Dam delivering the superplex. It looked like he was going to get the cover, but John Morrison switched it just at the last second. One has to think this might not be the last time that we see these two in a 5-star ring.
And Zach Gibson's watching this scene now. It's got to be sickening him after what he said on several occasions here tonight about the Americans. And look, John Morrison just locked eyes with Rob Van Dam, and Rob Van Dam saw John Morrison. I saw Zach Gibson, that's for sure. Gibson's walking off. Oh, wait a second!
Oh, Zach Gibson's in the ring!
Oh, and he just knocked Morrison into RVD. Oh, and he's kicked him low like he kicked Mysterio low. Oh, and he's taken out Rob Van Dam. Knocks out Rob Van Dam with the belt. Knocks out John Morrison with the belt.
Once again, Zach Gibson might not have won his match tonight, but now he's made 2 statements. And there is the image. Zach Gibson holding the 5-star wrestling championship. Is this what's going to happen in the future?
Zach Gibson has once again,
the next time you book the Yanks in the main event, there will be consequences.
Zach Gibson ending 5-star wrestling live on Free Sports, showing as he claims that Britain is best. And we'll see you next week.